3. Danzo was really confused and couldn't help but ask. Sarutobi Hiruzen had already discovered Danzo, and he felt helpless about this old friend who was killed instantly by his golden light curse. Whether it was his son, his 3 disciples, or Danzo, everyone had this expression when they saw him. What's wrong? How come you are so young? Danzo couldn't understand it. He really couldn't figure out what happened to Sarutobi Hiruzen that caused him to undergo such a big change both mentally and physically. Maybe it's because being the hokage was too tiring before, so I look old. Now that I have let others take care of most of the things, of course I look younger, hahaha. Danzo was silent. It was obvious that Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to tell the truth. Okay, now that we are here, let's deal with this tiger together. Ninjas need to perform missions outside all year round and have strong adaptability to various harsh environments. Dealing with the corpses of wild animals is a compulsory course in ninja schools. Even if Danzo only had one arm left, it would be no problem for him to deal with the tiger. Even though the tiger was huge, it was just a wild beast. While talking about dealing with the tiger, Sarutobi Hiruzen slipped into the house to drink tea. As his cultivation level increased, his need for food also increased. Since he had not found any herbs and could not refine pills, he could only eat a lot of meat to satisfy his body's needs. Fortunately, the death forest is large enough and almost no one hunts here, so it's no problem even if Sarutobi Hiruzen eats as much as he wants. Danzo didn't say anything. He silently took care of the tiger and started barbecue. Who will eat so little as you make? Seeing that Danzo only roasted one tiger leg, Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little helpless and just roasted the whole tiger. Why do you want to do this at this juncture? Danzo's mind is not on the barbecue. He still wants to ask Sarutobi Hiruzen why he chose to give up everything at this juncture. Do you look down on him so much? Danzo thought that he would not do worse than Orochimaru, so why didn't Hiruzen let him help with the affairs of the village? Danzo, you are not fit to help the village deal with these matters. Why, I'm not suitable, but does Orochimaru fit in? Danzo was well aware of Orochimaru's research and pursuit of immortality. He never trusted Orochimaru, and he also contributed a lot to the previous competition between Namikaze Minato and Orochimaru. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head. You have been lost for a long time, and we are all old. It is better to slowly hand over the village to the young people. Danzo naturally didn't believe Sarutobi Hiruzen's nonsense and began to give examples to prove his point. But Sarutobi Hiruzen did not answer Danzo's question. When he saw the barbecue was ready, he started eating. Hiruzen, do you understand or not? By the time Danzo finished speaking, Sarutobi Hiruzen had already eaten the entire tiger and was watching him pick his teeth. How could it eat so fast? When did this monkey's appetite become so big? Danzo was somewhat suspicious that the person in front of him was not Sarutobi Hiruzen, but the summoning beast Monkey King in disguise. Did you listen to what I said? It's too late. There's no point listening to you. Just accept your fate. Danzo was so angry that he almost suffocated himself. This reminded him of the young Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was equally irritating. Not wanting to say anything more to Sarutobi Hiruzen, Danzo turned around and went home. If Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to go crazy, let him go crazy here alone. Black Zetsu, who was originally monitoring Konoha, quickly rushed back to the Rain Shinobi village. The Akatsuki organization had been established and a conspiracy was brewing secretly. Madara, something terrible has happened. Danzo was killed by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Uchiha Madara, also known as Uchiha Obito, has begun his own plot. The Nine Tails Rebellion was planned by him, and the future Uchiha genocide was also directly participated in by Uchiha Obito. Uchiha's Sharingan was directly divided between Danzo and Obito. The stupidest thing Obito did was not to hurt others for the sake of his lover, but to believe other people's lies. He is the biggest clown in Konoha. Danzo? Humph, just a rat. He successfully launched the Nine Tails Rebellion, was able to fight against the fourth generation without losing, and is now even the mastermind behind the entire ninja world. Obito was extremely arrogant at this time, and there was nothing he could do about it. He possessed unimaginable power and was even the successor of Uchiha Madara, so it was normal for him to look down on others. However, Sharingan is the eye of the soul, and Obito's Kamui proves that he just wants to escape from this reality. It's no wonder that a clown who only knows how to escape would be deceived. It's okay, this won't affect our plan. The Uchiha clan must be destroyed. Obito, who fears death, needs a lot of 3 Tomo Sharingan to release Izanagi. Like Danzo, he wants to get as much Sharingan as possible from the Uchiha clan. A Sharingan means a life. Sarutobi Hiruzen's secret technique can ignore Izanagi and even expel the first-generation cells from your body. Black Zetsu's tone sounded a little scared. He even felt that he might be destroyed by Sarutobi Hiruzen's secret technique. As the embodiment of Itsutsuki Kagaya's will, he will not die as long as Itsutsuki Kagaya does not die. Although Itsutsuki Kagaya was sealed on the moon, she had eaten the fruit of the sacred tree, and as long as the tailed beasts and chakra did not disappear, she would basically not die. What? Uchiha Obito's eyes widened. His greatest support was not Kamui, but Izanagi. It can be said that the ninjutsu of Izanagi is the foundation of his dominance in the ninja world. Even Uchiha Madara relied on Izanagi to have the last laugh in the battle with Senju Hashirama. It's alright, Sarutobi Hiruzen is old, we just need to find a chance to kill him. What if he passed on the secret technique to someone else? Orochimaru has become one of Konoha's decision makers, and Jiraiya and Tsunade have returned to Konoha. This is not a good thing for us. Black Zetsu really doesn't like the feeling of things being out of his control, especially the Uchiha clan. The power of the Sharingan is also difficult for him to control. Although it is not as powerful as the Rinnegan, the abilities of the Sharingan after opening Mangekyo are really bizarre. Originally, the Uchiha clan should have been destroyed soon, but now it is not so easy to destroy the Uchiha. Orochimaru, it's okay. We still have a lot of time, so we can plan slowly. Obito's words calmed Black Zetsu down. Yes, he has waited for too long, and it doesn't matter if it's a little longer. I'm going to go check on that Sarutobi Hiruzen guy. Obito decided to go and see for himself, and if he could get the chance, he would just kill the cowardly Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Be careful, if something goes wrong, run away immediately. Black Zetsu is not going to go with Obito. If Obito dies, there will be a next one, but if he dies, it will be really over. Anyway, Ashura and Indra were entangled, so he just had to wait quietly. Obito didn't reply and just used Kamui to leave range shinobi. The turmoil in the ninja world has begun, but it has nothing to do with Sarutobi Hiruzen. After practicing hard in the Forest of Death for half a month, Sarutobi Hiruzen's cultivation had reached the 4th level of chi refining, but the speed of his improvement had slowed down. The reason why he can reach his current speed is that he has lived 2 lives as a human being, so he is very familiar with the process of cultivation from scratch. And at the border of the Land of Fire, the first wave of attack by Konoha has begun. Neither Rock Shinobi nor Cloud Shinobi expected that Konoha's counterattack would come so quickly. Although Konoha won the 3rd Ninja War, its strength was further weakened. In the 3 Ninja Wars, Konoha won every time, but its strength was getting weaker and weaker. Every war is inevitably accompanied by death and sacrifice. After the 3rd Ninja War, Konoha lost several cage-level strongmen. In addition, the Nine Tails Rebellion caused Konoha to lose the extremely powerful Hokage Namikaze Minato. At the same time, the Nine Tails Jinchuriki also had problems. Sarutobi Hiruzen had aged, his strength had declined, and he had become cowardly at heart. 2 of the Sunin left, and Orochimaru was on the verge of defecting. It is precisely because of these reasons that Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi are ready to move in the border area, constantly testing Konoha's bottom line. Both Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi want to replace Konoha's position as the strongest ninja village. At the same time, these 2 villages are more united than Konoha. Cloud Shinobi's strength is even slightly above that of Konoha. However, Konoha's location is unique. The Fire Nation has far more resources than other countries, but it is also because of this location, located in the middle of major countries, that it is attacked from all sides in every war. However, Konoha is Konoha after all, and now Orochimaru began to command this war, letting Jiraiya lead the team. Kakashi and the Uchiha clan and Tenzo act together. This lineup is no match for any force in the current ninja world, and can even wipe out the current Akatsuki organization. After all, Akatsuki organization is not that strong yet. The Akatsuki organization, which was established in the 2nd Ninja War, is now at a time when Yahiko has passed away and Nagato has collapsed. Obito just swooped in. Nagato hasn't fully mastered the power of the Rinnegan, and Akatsuki still needs a long time to develop. Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi also suffered heavy losses in the 3rd Ninja War, but it was only because they wanted to test and weaken Konoha's power after Konoha encountered the Nine Tails Rebellion. After all of Konoha's top leaders were replaced, they urgently needed a big victory to consolidate their position. The Cloud Shinobi who were active at the border of Konoha were basically taken down immediately when they encountered Jiraiya and his men. Knowing that the village is no longer targeting him, Uchiha also eagerly hopes to achieve more military exploits. Although there seems to be a lot of conflict between the village and the Uchiha, in fact, most of the Uchiha love this village very much. If you encounter a group of crazy Uchiha, there is only one outcome, and that is death. The Uchiha clan, led by Uchiha Fugaku, along with Jiraiya and a group of Umbu, began to clear Konoha's borders from 2 different directions. Whether it's Rock Shinobi or Cloud Shinobi, no one can match them. Even information couldn't be passed back, and everyone was killed instantly when they met. In just 2 days, most of the other ninjas active on the border of the Fire Country were wiped out. Some Ronin and bandits suffered unexpected disasters and were also wiped out. Master, something is wrong. You should hurry back to Yunlii Gorge. At the border between the Land of Fire and the Land of Lightning, Samui was very worried. Lord Raikage had clearly asked his master, Lord Killer Bee, to train well in Yunlii Gorge, but Killer Bee often ran out to play around. Hey, it's okay. The bond between me and Eight Tails is unbeatable. Killer Bee has a very good relationship with Eight Tails. After the third ninja war, he and Eight Tails cooperated better and better, and now he can use tailed beast bombs skillfully. There have been frictions between the village and Konoha recently. Killer Bee couldn't stand the loneliness, so he brought his apprentice Samui to the border. Master, many troops have lost contact. Konoha should have sent out strong men. We should retreat as soon as possible. Samui is very calm and careful in what she does, which is completely different from Killer Bee. Although she is young, she is very trusted by the fourth Hokage. It's okay, this is a good opportunity for me to meet the guys from Konoha. After becoming a perfect Jinchuriki, Killer Bee was eager to prove himself, so he came to the border area. However, this time Killer Bee will pay the price for his arrogance. Jiraiya adults. Uchiha Fugaku and a group of Uchiha ninjas completed the task very well. Uchiha Shisui also showed his prowess. His body flicker technique and swordsmanship combined with the Sharingan complemented each other and he killed many Chunin in seconds along the way. There are only a few areas left, let's finish the task quickly. Jiraiya nodded. He had a very good impression of the new Uchiha chief. He did not have the blind arrogance of ordinary Uchiha, but was very steady instead. Moreover, Jiraiya also liked Shisui, his junior, very much. In a trance, Shisui even reminds him of his apprentice, Namikaze Minato. Jiraiya had the idea of taking in a disciple. The village wanted to get closer to the Uchiha clan, and it seemed like a good idea for the Sannin to take in an Uchiha as a disciple. Of course, we need to wait until this mission is completed before we talk about it. The Konoha shinobi made a brief repair and moved to the next area. And in front, Killer Bee was also on high alert, waiting for the arrival of the Konoha shinobi. But what he could not have imagined was that this time Konoha was determined to completely drive out Rock Shinobi, the Cloud Shinobi ninja, and they sent out such a luxurious lineup. No, someone is coming. Soon, Killer Bee realized something was wrong. The breath of the strong. This is closer to Cloud Shinobi and is a base camp where many teams resupply. However, during this period, several teams have not returned for supplies. Idiot. The ********D. Let Master Bee defeat you. Killer Bee struck a pose, but the next second, several pairs of blood-red eyes suddenly appeared in the forest not far away. The Uchiha clan all have 3 Megatama. Evil chakra overflowed, making the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi shudder. After seeing the white-haired Jiraiya and Kakashi, Killer Bee was already sweating coldly. He certainly knew Jiraiya, as well as Kakashi and several members of the Uchiha clan, and the spinning 3 Megatama were terrifying. 3 Megatama are equivalent to elite Jonin, and these Uchiha are obviously the elite among the elites. With Jiraiya leading the team, these people are no match at all. It's too late to run. Prepare to retreat. Killer Bee was no longer in the mood to rap, as the tailed beast coat had already appeared on his body, ready to cover the retreat of the ninjas present. Eight Tails Jinchuriki. Jiraiya didn't expect that he could catch such a big fish this time. If Killer Bee can be captured alive, Cloud Shinobi village will surely pay a huge price. Red chakra overflowed, and the tailed beast coat fluttered on Killer Bee. After seeing Jiraiya, Killer Bee immediately chose to fight with all his strength. Lariat with his entire body filled with violent lightning-style chakra and the power of tailed beast transformation, Killer Bee moved very quickly as he rushed towards Shisui who was relatively close to him. Fire style How Long Fire Technique. Several Uchiha ninjas formed hand seals at the same time, and several fire dragons rushed towards Killer Bee. After a loud roar, only one octopus tentacle was left, and the surrounding Cloud Shinobi took this opportunity to flee. Unfortunately, there were no strong men at Cloud Shinobi's supply point, only 2 ordinary Jonin, and they were all taken down before they could run far. Killer Bee gritted his teeth and had to fight with all his might. The tailed beast coat wrapped around Killer Bee surged, and he directly entered the half-tailed beast state, and his chakra continued to expand. Wood style 4-pillar prison Yamato flashed forward and used wood style. Although his wood style was not as good as the first generation one, it still had a certain ability to suppress the tailed beasts. Unfortunately, Yamato is still young, so the power of wood style is weaker. The wood style 4-pillar prison technique did not trap 8 Tails, but instead scared the surrounding Cloud Shinobi ninjas. It was actually wood style? Another wood style ninja appeared in Konoha? Uchiha Fugaku was hesitant. He had never used his Mangekyo Sharingan since it awakened. Since the user of Mangekyo can control the 9 tails, exposing it rashly could cause the village and the Uchiha to become hostile again. Summoning technique. Jiraiya directly summoned Gamabunta, and his huge body caused a vibration. Jiraiya, is this another troublesome enemy? As soon as Bunta appeared, he saw Killer Bee transformed into a half-tailed beast, but he was not afraid, but full of motivation. Hey, this time we have to capture 8 Tails alive. The situation is not right, let's find a chance to escape. Jayaki was communicating with Killer Bee in his mind. He could feel how powerful Jiraiya was, but what threatened him the most were the Uchiha who were eyeing him covetously not far away. But these companions. Killer Bee could have chosen to retreat at the beginning, but he couldn't leave his companions behind. If you don't leave, you'll all have to stay here. The half-tailed beast Killer Bee is very intimidating, but unfortunately all the Cloud Shinobi around him have been captured, including his apprentice Samui. Killer Bee, admit defeat and we can spare the life of your companion. This is the last stronghold, and the best option is to capture all these ninjas alive and wait for Cloud Shinobi to redeem them. Konoha and Cloud Shinobi are not officially at war right now, but if too many people are killed it could start a war again. Killer Bee is still hesitating. If he fully transforms into a tailed beast, he is confident that he can escape, but he will inevitably hurt his companions by mistake. Give up, we in Konoha will treat the prisoners well. Jiraiya didn't want to rashly start a war with 8 tails. Although 8 tails was not as strong as 9 tails, the destructive power of the tailed beasts was still very strong. He didn't want any casualties when he led the team out this time. Uchiha Fugaku was still hesitating, but he seemed to have thought of something and made up his mind. It's better not to hide it. Since the village trusts them, he should also trust the village. Especially after Jiraiya showed his intention to take Shisui as his apprentice in the past few days, Uchiha Fugaku wanted to get more for the Uchiha clan. Capture 8 tails alive and hand him over to the village. This is the chance to decide whether you will be suspected or become a hero. Jiraiya stood on top of Bunta and confronted Killer Bee, and the situation was in a stalemate for a while. Neither side wanted to have a major conflict, but Killer Bee didn't want to be captured alive either. As 8 Tails Jinchuriki, the Raikage's partner, it would be a huge loss for this guy if he was captured alive by Konoha. Uchiha Fugaku dodged, and his Sharingan quickly spun, transforming into the Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Fugaku's Mangekyo is not strong. One eye is Amaterasu and the other is Genjutsu. However, this Genjutsu is not as good as Tsukuyomi, let alone distinguished heavenly gods, but its ability to confuse is stronger. This is just right for facing 8 Tails at this time. 8 Tails is much worse than 9 Tails, and the Mangekyo Sharingan directly controls it. Killer Bee lost contact with Jayaki, his eyes transformed into Mangekyo Sharingan, and he was controlled by Uchiha Fugaku. This move shocked the whole audience. It was even more shocking than Tenzang's wood style just now. This is the Mangekyo Sharingan. Several Uchiha ninjas were very excited, and Shisui was also very surprised. Jiraiya, Kakashi and several other Konoha shinobi were also very surprised and immediately thought of the 9 Tails rebellion. How similar was the situation at that time to now? However, after hesitating for a moment, Jiraiya chose to believe Uchiha Fugaku. After all, Fugaku could continue to hide and there was no need to expose him. Let's leave this matter to Sarutobi Hiruzen to decide after we return. What we need to do now is to trust our companions. Jiraiya looked at Tenzu. During this time, Orochimaru had taught him many ninjutsu for the first generation. In order to ensure that nothing would happen to Naruto, Tenzu especially learned the first generation secret technique, Hokage-style 10th Edict on Enlightenment. This is a jutsu that can hypnosis 9 Tails, although Tenzo is far from the first generation. But now that 8 Tails was controlled by Uchiha Fugaku, Tenzo had no trouble getting Killer Bee to contact the tailed beast transformation. Jiraiya came up and gave Killer Bee a sealing technique to ensure that he could not use chakra and transform into a tailed beast. Chief Fugaku, you Uchiha have done a great job this time. It's not easy to capture 8 Tails alive. Jiraiya smiled happily. He could already imagine what Orochimaru's expression would be when he returned with Killer Bee. Originally, he just wanted to scare Cloud Shinobi and Rock Shinobi, but he didn't expect to capture Killer Bee alive. Jiraiya's attitude made Fugaku relax a little, and he nodded without saying anything. Patriarch, is that Mangekyo? Several tribesmen gathered around. It was really explosive news that their tribe leader actually had the legendary Mangekyo. Yes, prepare to retreat. Uchiha Fugaku didn't want to say much. Now that Killer Bee had been captured, the first thing he would do was to return to Konoha as soon as possible. This place is very close to Cloud Shinobi. It would be bad if Cloud Shinobi's reinforcements arrived. The 2 Jonin of Cloud Shinobi and Samui were still conscious at this time, and they knew in their hearts that something was terribly wrong, and they would become a shame in Cloud Shinobi's history. The Jinchuriki being captured alive was something that was unacceptable to every ninja village. By the time the news got back to Cloud Shinobi, Jiraiya and the others were already almost back to Konoha. What? All the ninjas sent to the Fire Nation were captured, and Bee was captured alive. When 4th Raikage AI heard the news, he slammed his palm on the desk. Lightning flashed and the desk instantly broke into pieces. If there was only a problem on the front line, it wouldn't be a big deal. Those who were sent to harass the Fire Nation this time were not the backbone of Cloud Shinobi, but just cannon fodder. It can be said that all these people put together are not as important as Killer Bee alone. Killer Bee actually didn't listen to him, secretly ran out of Yunlei Gorge, and was captured alive by the people of Konoha. The ninja who came to report was also in a cold sweat. After he knew about this, he was extremely scared. Every Reikage of Cloud Shinobi must have a partner, and the title of Reikage AI is passed down from generation to generation, and Bai is the golden partner of every generation of AI. Only when AI and Bai cooperate with each other can they use the secret skill, Double Lariat. At the same time, Bai is also AI's best assistant and guard. This generation of AI is the son of the previous generation of AI. He has shown great talent since childhood, and his speed is even comparable to that of Namikaze Minato. Of course, Namikaze Minato's space-time ninjutsu is definitely better. This generation's B is the Eight Tails Jinchuriki. AI and B are regarded as the hope for the rise of Cloud Shinobi Village, but now B has been captured by Konoha? How can this be possible? Prepare the delegation, I want to visit Konoha in person. No! This matter must be discussed with the elders first. Reikage Secretary Mabai at the side immediately spoke out to stop him. This is a big deal. If AI goes to Konoha and is also captured, then Cloud Shinobi will be doomed. Cloud Shinobi had already been defeated in the Third Ninja War, and if they lost AI and Bai, Cloud Shinobi would be completely finished. No, we must bring Bai back. AI had a bad temper to begin with, and now he was completely unable to calm down. Konoha will not go to war with us now. Sending an envoy should be able to bring Bai back. Mabi pushed his glasses. Most of the men in Cloud Shinobi village had bad tempers, but the women were all very calm. The fourth Reikage took a deep breath and spoke. Go call Darui and Nozomi over here, have them come get my handwritten letter, and leave for Konoha immediately. Third generation master, this is a letter from Master Jiraiya. A toad suddenly appears in the Hokage's office, attracting the attention of Orochimaru and Nara Shikaku. The toad is not big. Jiraiya left the summoning spell here a few days ago and injected chakra into it, so that it can quickly transmit information when necessary. Mount Mayaboku has always had a good relationship with Konoha, perhaps because he once dreamed in the Great Toad Sage that Konoha has always been the protagonist of the ninja world, so he chose to maintain a good relationship with Konoha. After seeing someone take the letter, there was another bang and the toad disappeared. Orochimaru took the letter, read it, and laughed out loud. You too take a look. Orochimaru briefly looked at it and smiled before handing the letter to Nara Shikaku, who took it and simply glanced at it before his eyes widened. What? The Nara clan is very afraid of trouble, but trouble always likes to find them. Since becoming the Hokage's assistant, Shikaku has had much less time to rest. However, the news in the letter was so surprising. Orochimaru could remain calm, but Shikaku could not. Master Jiraiya and his men actually captured Eight Tails Jinchuriki alive? And Uchiha Fugaku actually possesses the Mangekyo Sharinan? When Shikaka saw the letter, he immediately thought of the Nine Tails Rebellion. The Nine Tails riot was caused by a ninja with Mangekyo. Uchiha Fugaku used Mangekyo at this juncture and set up a strategy to capture Eight Tails alive, which would also be suspected. Come on, come with me to meet Danzo and the old man, and then announce the news. The snake stood up and walked towards the Forest of Death with Nara Shikaku. Orochimaru knew that Danzo had connections with people outside the village. During the Nine Tails Rebellion, neither Danzo nor the Root took action, and he was restricted by Danzo. Orochimaru suspected that Danzo must be in collusion with the ninja who caused the Nine Tails Rebellion. Because of this, it is unlikely that Fugaku was the one controlling Nine Tails. Since their last meeting, Danzo would come to see Sarutobi Hiruzen whenever he had nothing to do. The village had no room for him, the Root had long been disbanded, and Danzo didn't want to be idle, so he had no choice but to come to Sarutobi Hiruzen when he had nothing else to do. Sadly, apart from catching wild animals and grilling them, Sarutobi Hiruzen just sat on the futon with his eyes closed. Obviously without chakra, Danzo couldn't figure out what Sarutobi Hiruzen was doing with his eyes closed. Ninjas who haven't practiced senjutsu cannot sense the spiritual energy in Sarutobi Hiruzen's body. If Jiraiya watched Sarutobi Hiruzen practicing, he would probably be shocked by the amazing natural energy in Sarutobi Hiruzen's body. Hiruzen, what do you want? Danzo was grilling meat for Sarutobi Hiruzen, talking to himself. Orochimaru and Nara Shikaku also arrived at the cabin. When he saw Orochimaru, Danzo's eyes narrowed even tighter, and he became very angry when he saw Orochimaru. Master Danzo, I have something to ask you. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a deep breath and ended his training. Orochimaru came at the right time, as he needed to go out for a while to see if there were any herbs that could be used in the ninja world. After entering the 6th level of chi refining, the speed of cultivation slowed down a lot. Refining medicine is not a matter of forcing things. On the contrary, swallowing pills will lay a better foundation. If you have anything to say, just say it. When Nara Shikaka saw the third generation's eyes, his eyes widened again. How did third generation become younger? This style of painting is not right. Sarutobi Hiruzen practiced the yin-yang body refining technique. Before forming the elixir, his body had obvious physical characteristics, but after forming the elixir, his body became restrained. Danzo, the Uchiha who caused the Nine Tails Rebellion, do you know who he is? Danzo didn't say anything. If you also want the village to become better, you'd better answer quickly. Nara Shikaku couldn't help but speak, not caring about the change in third generation's purpose. This matter had a huge impact, and he had to get an answer quickly. Danzo, I am the Hokage. Orochimaru is now the elder of Konoha, you have to listen to him. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words made Danzo look unhappy. He was silent for a while before speaking. That was a ninja who called himself Uchiha Madara. He approached me more than once and wanted me to work with him. Uchiha Madara. The faint smile on Orochimaru's lips faded, and the atmosphere suddenly became solemn. Everyone present knew what this name meant. Madara is dead. That person was Uchiha Obito, Minato's disciple. Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally knew the plot and Obito's identity. There is no need to hide it, just say it directly. His words also made the other three people look over. Uchiha Obito. Orochimaru and Danzo had no impression of this name, and Nara Shikaku had even less impression of it. Uchiha Madara did survive and lingered on until some time ago, and Uchiha Obito was the pawn he cultivated. Teacher, how did you know that? I learned this when Minato and I fought him. His Mangekyo ability is very strange. It allows him to enter different dimensions and ignore attacks for a short period of time. That's why he succeeded and released 9 tails. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words made the other three frown. The amount of information was too much for them to accept at once. Uchiha Fugaku also possesses Mangekyo. He and Jiraiya captured 8 tails Jinchuriki alive at the border and are returning to Konoha. Danzo's squinty eyes widened upon hearing that yet another Uchiha possessed Mangekyo. The Uchiha clan can't be trusted. Who knows if they're in league with that Obito? Hiruzen, you must control Uchiha Fugaku. Haha, you should stop meddling in other people's business and just enjoy your retirement. Orochimaru did not agree with Danzo's point of view. He also wanted to obtain the power of the Uchiha clan, but the Uchiha were not vicious to the village and did not need to be feared. Sarutobi Hiruzen, you're going to regret this. Too bad, I'm the Hokage. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen say this, Danzo's eyes darkened. Yuan Fei's face really disgusted him that he would use the identity of Hokage to suppress him. Third generation master, do you have any more information about Obito? Only Nara Shikaku still remembered the key question, but when he looked at the third generation members, he couldn't help but be attracted by the explosive muscles on the third generation members' bodies. Not to mention that Nara has been here for a long time. Even Tsunade couldn't help swallowing when he saw the muscular body of the third generation member a few days ago. Because of his lover's death, he completely hated Konoha and the Uchiha clan. He also knows the secret techniques of the Uchiha. Izanaga must be careful. After saying that, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Danzo. Tell me, what is Izanagi? Danzo took a deep breath. How did Sarutobi Hiruzen know everything? Izanagi is a secret ninjutsu of the Uchiha. At the cost of permanent blindness of one Sharingan, it can distort reality in a short period of time and change something that is unfavorable to oneself. This made Orochimaru and Nara Shikaku take a deep breath. This invincible ninjutsu was really too powerful. Nara Shikaku began to understand why the second generation, the third generation and Danzo were all targeting Uchiha. Uchiha's power is too strong and his personality is unstable, which is a double-edged sword for the village. If there were more ninjas like Obito, the ninja world would be doomed. I understand. Let's keep this matter secret for now. Let's go back first, teacher. Orochimaru thought about it and chose to leave with Nara Shikaku. Hiruzen, if you trust Uchiha like this, the village will be in chaos. Danzo looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and couldn't help but speak. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't respond to Danzo's words, but came closer and continued to grill the meat. If they continued talking, the meat would get burnt. Hiruzen, did you hear me? Danzo, why can't Uchiha become the strength of the village? How much you fear Uchiha, how much Uchiha loves this village. Don't target Uchiha, give them opportunities and hope, they will do everything to protect the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words left Danzo silent, not knowing how to respond for a moment. By the way, Orochimaru, I might be traveling for a while recently. Orochimaru didn't walk far, and after hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, he turned around and nodded. This is a good thing for him. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen is the Hokage now, but he is the one who handles most of the affairs of Konoha village. If Sarutobi Hiruzen leaves Konoha temporarily, he can let go and let Konoha develop better. He is going to go back with Nara Shikaku to announce the news of capturing 8 tails alive. However, Fugaku's Mangekyo needed to be concealed, and it was changed to Jiraiya suppressing 8 tails, and then several Uchiha used illusion together to control 8 tails. He wanted to make Uchiha the hero of Konoha. If Uchiha still harmed the village after that, it would not be too late to take action. After Orochimaru and Nara Shikamaru returned, the battle report on the front line quickly spread throughout the village. The news that Jiraiya and Uchiha Fugaku, the head of the Uchiha clan, defeated all the Rock Shinobi teams and Cloud Shinobi teams on the Konoha border and captured 8 tails alive made Konoha boil. Konoha suffered a series of heavy blows and lost several strong men, and urgently needed news like this to boost morale. Many civilians and ordinary ninjas also learned the name of the Uchiha clan leader for the first time. During this time, the village's strategy against Uchiha has changed. The Uchiha clan's land was in a corner of the village, and living there was very inconvenient. After the security department was abolished, many Uchiha clan members came to settle in the village. Before today, Uchiha would still be talked about and looked down upon in the village. But today, the Uchiha clan has become the heroes of Konoha. When the aloof Uchiha walk on the streets, civilians will come up to thank them when they see the Uchiha's round fan clan emblem. This left the Uchiha tribe members at a loss, but all the Uchiha were proud that their leader and several jonin had captured 8 tails alive. Shisui Uchiha Itaki at home also learned about this and couldn't help but think of his good friend, Uchiha Shisui. Uchiha Shisui has already opened his eyes at this time and also possesses the Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Itaki only knows that his good friend has Mangekyo, and does not know that his father also has Mangekyo. He suspected that it might be Shisui who used the power of Mangekyo, but the village's attitude towards Uchiha became better, and all the tribesmen who returned from outside were smiling. There were even civilians and some ninjas who had a grudge against Cloud Shinobi who had already sent gifts to the Uchiha clan land. The relationship between the village and the family is getting better. I hope your choice is right. Looking at Suzuki in his arms, Uchiha Itaki couldn't help but smile and pinched Suzuki's face. The younger brother is so cute. In a village like this, Suzuki should be able to grow up healthily, right? The next day, Jiraiya and his crew returned to Konoha and were treated as heroes they should be. This made Uchiha Fugaku and several other Uchiha Jonin very uncomfortable, but only Uchiha Shisui enjoyed it. This is what he has been working towards. The village and the family should be one. The honor of the family and the village is protected by him, Uchiha Shisui. Jiraiya led a group of ninjas without stopping along the way. In order not to affect the speed and also to avoid accidents, most of Cloud Shinobi's cannon fodder was dealt with. Only the 2 Jonin were left, along with Killer Bee and Samui. The 4 people had already woken up, but they were unable to speak. Their chakras were sealed, making it impossible for them to move. Killer Bee is very desperate. Now he can't even communicate with 8 tails, and he has no way to break the seal. He can only be slaughtered. This time he was really in trouble. He didn't expect that he, who had become a perfect Jinchuriki, would be taken down before he even entered the complete tailed beast transformation. Jiraiya and the toad summoning beast put too much pressure on him, and he didn't notice the Uchiha attacking him from the side. He lost consciousness as soon as Mangekyo appeared. Now after arriving in Konoha, the 4 people were immediately imprisoned. Orochimaru, Tsunade, Sarutobi Hiruzen all came, and the Sunin looked at Killer Bee with his hands tied behind his back, which put more pressure on him. 8 Tails Jinchuriki will be sent to the Scientific Research Department. The other 3 will be temporarily detained to see what price Cloud Shinobi will pay for their ransom. Looking at 8 Tails, Orochimaru smiled happily. He had wanted to study Jinchuriki for a long time, but unfortunately Naruto was still young and a child from his own village. He had heard that this 8 Tails Jinchuriki was already the perfect Jinchuriki, so of course he had to study it carefully. Let's start with drawing blood. We'll also have to ask Uchiha Fugaku to accompany us and use Mangekyo to control 8 Tails to cooperate with the research. It's really exciting just thinking about it. Thinking of this, Orochimaru couldn't help but stretch out his long tongue and lick his lips. Orochimaru's burning gaze gave Killer Bee a chill. Why was this person so strange? Master 3rd generation, I have something to report. Shisui looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, and in a rush of excitement, he wanted to report to Sarutobi Hiruzen that he had also opened a Mangekyo. Shisui is very naive, as are most Uchiha, and it is precisely because of this naivete that, after experiencing the death of a loved one, he explodes with unimaginable power. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at Shisui and nodded. Sunin Sarutobi Hiruzen and Uchiha Shisui returned to the Hokage's office together. Uchiha Fugaku did not say anything, but looked at Shisui deeply, and then was surrounded by the Uchiha people who came and returned to the clan territory. This time the Uchiha tribe was in high spirits. They should be the first to capture 8 Tails alive. Hokage-sama, I want to ask you, what do you think of the Uchiha clan? In the Hokage's office, Shisui stared at Sarutobi Hiruzen and asked. Shisui is naive, but not stupid. His distinguished heavenly gods are extremely powerful, enough to turn the situation around, and if Orochimaru's answer displeases him, Shisui will instantly use distinguished heavenly gods to change Sarutobi Hiruzen's mind. Make Sarutobi Hiruzen a good Hokage who loves the village and won't target the Uchiha. Kid, are you questioning the Hokage? Tsunade next to her snorted, feeling somewhat dissatisfied with Shisui's tone. Okay, Shisui is Kagami-senpai's descendant. Jiraiya was trying to smooth things over. He liked Shisui's personality very much. Although Shisui was an Uchiha, his love for the village far exceeded that of most ninjas. Upon hearing that Uchiha Shisui was the descendant of Kagami-senpai, Tsunade's expression eased a lot. It was also because of the existence of Uchiha Kagami that many people believed that not all Uchiha were disgusting egomaniacs. Uchiha are Konoha's Uchiha. In a village this big, there have to be good and bad people. Everyone pursues different goals, so the answers they get will naturally be different. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words made Uchiha Shisui think for a while, then he suddenly raised his head and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen. The three Megatama in both eyes spun rapidly and merged into one another to form the pattern of a four-edged shuriken, which was Uchiha Shisui's Mangekyo. Orochimaru's pupils contracted. He had already obtained information about Mangekyo from the village's collection of books, but he didn't expect that the current Uchiha actually possessed two pairs of Mangekyo. To be honest, Orochimaru coveted the power of the Sharingan very much, and he coveted Mangekyo even more. However, now that he has become a high-ranking official in the village, there is no need to rush. The best option is to slowly crack the mystery of the Uchiha bloodline and make Uchiha the strength of the village. Third generation master, this is my Mangekyo. I will do my best to protect Konoha. Shisui did not mention the abilities of the distinguished heavenly gods, and the look in Orochimaru's eyes next to him still made him worried, but Shisui could also be sure that Sarutobi Hiruzen would not target Uchiha like Danzo did. After the fourth generation came to power, the policy towards Uchiha has been gradually relaxed. It was also because the Nine Tails rebellion pushed Uchiha to the forefront. Now that the two pairs of Mangekyo have been exposed, will Uchiha become Konoha's strongest blade, or will Uchiha be suspected and feared by the higher UPS as before? Shisui, will you become my disciple? Just at this moment, Jiraiya spoke up and broke the deadlock. The Uchiha are now too powerful, and are inevitably suspected and feared by the village. However, Uchiha Fugaku took 8 tails, and Uchiha Shisui even took the initiative to tell them that he had Mangekyo. At this time, if you don't give Uchiha enough trust, it will be disheartening. It would be the best choice for him to accept Uchiha Shisui as his apprentice, so that he can be a buffer between Uchiha and the village. Of course, the main reason is that Jiraiya was impressed by Shisui's character and ninja way. Tsunade remained silent. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen was the hokage, and she would obey Sarutobi Hiruzen's decision. And Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. Jiraiya taking Shisui as his apprentice was the best choice. The most surprising thing is Uchiha Shisui. Although Jiraiya is a little lustful, his strength is unquestionable. After all, Jiraiya's previous apprentice was the famous fourth hokage. In this operation, he also highly respected Jiraiya, the powerful senior. I do. Go back and inform Fugaku. You also need to discuss this matter with the tribe. Jiraiya knew that his acceptance of Shisui as his apprentice had a huge impact, and was also a signal to the Uchiha on behalf of the Konoha High UPS. Okay, I'll go back and discuss it with the clan leader now. Shisui was very excited and said goodbye and left. Jiraiya, you've got another disciple. Tsunade crossed her arms over her chest, making her breasts even more choppy, making Jiraiya dizzy. Yes, I have accepted another disciple. Jiraiya thought of his former apprentices, all of whom were dead. He once believed that Namikaze Minato was the child of prophecy, and he had high hopes for Yahiko and Nagato, believing that they would change the ninja world, but unfortunately they are all dead. The Great Toad Sage told him again that the child of prophecy no longer existed, and now he has accepted a new apprentice, so he hopes he won't make the same mistake again. In the Uchiha land, the Uchiha are very excited today. We are preparing to hold a celebratory banquet to celebrate this hard-earned victory. Previously, the village suppressed Uchiha in all aspects, and even banned Uchiha from participating in wars. This will undoubtedly increase the conflict between the Uchiha clan and the village. They consider themselves to be the largest clan in Konoha, but they never contribute during wars. What's going on? The arrogant Uchiha was too disdainful to explain, and the conflict became increasingly serious. Today their chief captured 8 tails alive, which made everyone very excited. Shisui was very fast, after all, he was the instantaneous Shisui. He used his maximum speed to quickly return to the clan territory. Coincidentally, the banquet was about to begin. Shisui, you're back. Itaka saw Shisui and walked over with a smile. Normally the atmosphere in the clan was depressing, but this time everyone was very happy, Itaka being no exception. Itaki, where's your father? I need to see him about something. Uchiha Fugaku was surrounded by several clan elders, asking about Mangekyo. Fugaku, when did you open the Mangekyo? Why did you expose it to the village? You are so confused. Uchiha Setsuna was very angry. Why wasn't he the one to open Mangekyo? If he had Mangekyo, he would definitely lead the Uchiha to take down Konoha and become Hokage. Cowardly Fugaku had Mangekyo and was able to take down 8 tails, but he didn't use this power to gain more for his family. How cowardly! Fugaku didn't say anything. He had his own considerations. He would never take action against Konoha unless it was absolutely necessary. Even if you want to rebel, it must be a rebellion without any conflict. Shisui and Itake came here. Shisui, who possessed 3 Megatama at such a young age, was naturally qualified to participate in the family meeting. Chief, I have something to discuss with you all. Uchiha Fugaku nodded. Now Uchiha Shisui is the most dazzling genius of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Itachi is equally talented, but due to his young age, he has not yet made a name for himself. Master Jiraiya wants to take me in as his apprentice. Shisui's words made the Uchiha elders look at each other in bewilderment. Third generation Master and Master Tsunade both know about this matter and asked me to come back and ask for your opinion, Chief. What about your own thoughts? As a clan leader, Fugaku is indeed a bit timid, but as an elder, he is definitely qualified. I have always admired Jiraiya-sama. Shisui naturally wanted to take Jiraiya as his master. It's a good thing, I think. The one who spoke up was the Uchiha Yashiro, who previously held a high position in the guard department, and was not blind in his belief that the village and the Uchiha clan could not coexist. This must be a conspiracy by the village. They have been targeting us Uchiha for a long time. I still think we need to be careful. Uchiha Setsuna still feels that the village cannot be trusted. They have been targeting Uchiha for so long, so this must be a conspiracy. I think the village is also changing, and the 5th generation project is not targeting us. Shisui had noticed a change in the village's strategy against the Uchiha since the last time he and Itachi met the 3rd generation. Okay, since Shisui agrees, let's finalize this. Fugaku thought for a moment before continuing. Go and invite Lord Jiraiya to the party, and also go find Sarutobi Hiruzen and Tsunade and see if they're willing to come. Okay. Upon hearing the order, the Uchiha people ran out quickly. Since the village has shown goodwill, Uchiha must also show goodwill to the 5th generation and the village. You will definitely regret this. Uchiha Setsuna's back actually looks a bit like Danzo. Perhaps it is precisely because Konoha has people like Danzo and Uchiha has people like Setsuna, who are at loggerheads with each other and do not trust each other, that the current situation has come to this. Uchiha Setsuna walked away dejectedly, and the other radical Uchihas were a little at a loss. They looked at each other, not knowing what to do. Well, let's have a party today. If Sarutobi Hiruzen and Sun and Sama are coming, invite the other clans and ninjas from the village as well. Uchiha Fugaku thought about it. Originally, it was just a celebration among the family, but now that Jiraiya accepted Shisui as his apprentice, they must celebrate as well. If the 5th generation were to come as well, it would be better to invite all the ninjas in the village to further strengthen the relationship between the Uchiha and the village. After all, capturing 8 tails alive was worth celebrating. Okay, I'll go now. Jiraiya was visited by the Uchiha tribe and invited to attend the banquet. He agreed without thinking. On the other side, Sarutobi Hiruzen and the Sunin thought about it for a moment and agreed. But when they arrived at the Uchiha land, they found that most of the ninjas in the village were there. The Uchiha clan's territory was decorated with lights and the Uchiha people were not so arrogant anymore. After all, today they, the Uchiha, were the heroes of Konoha. When the ninjas from other clans received the invitation from the Uchiha clan, they were surprised at first. They couldn't believe that the Uchiha clan would invite them to the banquet. However, after hearing that Jiraiya wanted to accept Uchiha Shisui as his disciple, they all agreed. Ever since the Nine Tails Rebellion, Konoha has been in a state of despair and everyone is in danger. What no one expected was that Konoha's first large-scale gathering would be held in the Uchiha clan's territory. Sarutobi Hiruzen was naturally invited as well, but Sarutobi Hiruzen had been in the Uchiha land for some time, and no one had recognized him as the 3rd Hokage. As the sky gradually darkened, the entire Uchiha clan took action. As a large clan that has been passed down from Sengoku to the present, they certainly have no shortage of money. The Sunin was actually a little surprised. They didn't expect most of the ninjas in the village to come. Sunin was soon invited to the central area, where the patriarchs of the major families were basically all present. Seeing Orochimaru coming, all the ninjas nodded in agreement. After all, Orochimaru was basically handling all the affairs in the village now. Orochimaru found Uchiha Fugaku and chatted with him for a few minutes, and then determined the main purpose of today's banquet. The first was of course to celebrate Konoha's capture of 8 Tails Jinchuriki alive, and the second was Jiraiya accepting Shisui as his apprentice. Uchiha Fugaku was also completely relieved. The village's attitude towards the Uchiha clan has changed, and they will no longer target the Uchiha as before. From the fact that Jiraiya accepted Shisui as his apprentice, one can feel the village's trust. Sarutobi Hiruzen was brought to the main seat by Jiraiya. In theory, he was also Shisui's master, so he should have been present when he became Shisui's apprentice. Most of the ninjas did not recognize this person as the 3rd Hokage and were still confused about his identity. Master Jiraiya, are you really going to accept Shisui as your apprentice? Uchiha Fugaku asked very seriously. In front of most of Konoha's ninjas and Konoha's top leaders, Jiraiya's answer was equivalent to Konoha's attitude towards Uchiha. Whether he was right or wrong in exposing Mangekyo and retrieving 8 tails for Konoha would depend on tonight. Of course, Shisui reminds me of Minato. I will try to train him to be the next Minato. Jiraiya's words made the Uchiha excited. Minato is the fourth Hokage, and he was very kind to the Uchiha when he was in office. Could it be possible that Shisui could become the next Hokage? This is of course what Orochimaru told Jiraiya to say. Good. Uchiha Fugaku looked at Shisui, who was a little flustered because there were too many people today. The ninjas in the village were all watching, and Jiraiya said he wanted to train him to be the next Namikaze Minato, which made him blush a little. Teacher. Ninjas don't have so many red tapes, and the apprenticeship was completed quickly. Everyone, today is to celebrate Shisui's apprenticeship and the capture of 8 Tails Jinchuriki. Don't be restrained, just eat as much as you want. Sarutobi Hiruzen had nothing to say, so Uchiha Fugaku simply announced the start of the party. Everyone was a little reserved at first, but the atmosphere soon became lively. Everyone was excited by the hard-earned victory, and since Sarutobi Hiruzen now seemed very open-minded, everyone began to feel hopeful about the future. Teacher, come and have a drink. Tsunade drank a little too much and felt annoyed when she saw Sarutobi Hiruzen. How did this old man become so young? No matter what, I'll drink 2 cups of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Teacher? Tsunade's words attracted a lot of attention. Sarutobi Hiruzen was eating non-stop here and had already attracted a lot of people's attention. This is also because Sarutobi Hiruzen has a very outstanding temperament and is out of tune with the ninjas around him. His muscular body looks like a sculpture, full of power, and his temperament is resolute and upright, which makes people like him at first sight. Sarutobi Hiruzen was not afraid at all. These ninjas were all drinking sake, so it was no pressure for him at all. After drinking a few glasses in a row, Tsunade was the first to get drunk. After learning Sarutobi Hiruzen's identity from Jiraiya, all the ninjas present opened their mouths wide. I really can't connect the person in front of me with the previous third Hokage. Did Sarutobi Hiruzen undergo human experimentation? Did Orochimaru develop some kind of secret technique? Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't care about the looks from the ninjas present. He was a little tired of eating barbecue every day recently. The food prepared by the Uchiha Dog Tycoon tasted very good, but the portion was a bit small. He was busy eating the food with big mouthfuls. Several Uchiha people who were serving the food to Sarutobi Hiruzen were sweating. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned. An unexpected guest arrived. After receiving the news from Black Zetsu, Uchiha Obito rushed to Konoha. Obito now has nothing but infinite hatred for Konoha. The third Hokage made him hate him even more. Lin's death was related to the village and the ninja world. If the village hadn't been so corrupt, if it hadn't been for the war, Lin wouldn't have died. So Obito wants to subvert the ninja world. He is willing to pay any price as long as he can revive Rin. Even though he was responsible for the death of his master and his mistress, he had no regrets. He even planned to destroy the Uchiha clan and obtain more Sharingan to activate his Izanagi. Obito himself is afraid of the power of the Uchiha clan. Perhaps a heaven-defying Mangekyo will appear who can restrain his Kamui? When he arrived in Konoha, he also received news from Ju. Konoha captured 8 Tails Jinchuriki alive. Uchiha Fugaku is suspected of possessing Mangekyo. This made Obito grit his teeth. Why hide? If the power of Mangekyo had been used earlier, Konoha would have won long ago, right? Then Rin wouldn't have died. The barrier outside Konoha village is useless to Obito. After arriving at the Uchiha clan, the lively scene here made Obito's hatred even stronger. Why? Why can these people be so happy? Why can the Uchiha clan now live in harmony with the people in the village? Uchiha Obito's hatred reached its peak. His surging murderous intent, extreme malice and evil chakra were instantly discovered by Sarutobi Hiruzen. The reason why he came back to attend the banquet today was to prevent any accidents from happening. There are too many enemies hiding in the dark. In addition to Obito, there is also Otsutsuki Yasuhiki hiding behind the scenes. His arrival has changed the future of the ninja world, and no one knows what kind of enemy they will encounter. Obito can't hide the hatred in his heart. Why can the Uchiha clan live so well? However, Obito immediately held back. He did not dare to act rashly before he was sure of Uchiha Fugaku Mangekyo's ability. He directly hollowed out and left the Uchiha territory. Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Shisui both felt the fluctuations of Mangekyo at the same time as they were in Obito Hollow. Both of them were a little confused. There was actually another pair of Mangekyo? Was it someone from the clan, or a wandering Uchiha? I'm going back first. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood up to say goodbye, and he felt that Obito actually went to the cabin and was looking through his things. Old man, you're going back so early, do you really want to become an ascetic monk? Jiraiya also drank a lot, and his tongue became a little big. Jiraiya privately told Tsunade that Sarutobi Hiruzen was most likely going to become an ascetic to atone for his previous mistakes. Maybe he will become a monk in the near future. Sarutobi Hiruzen ignored Jiraiya and left the party. Orochimaru didn't care about Sarutobi Hiruzen's departure. Looking at the happy banquet, he even had an impulse. How about using impure world reincarnation to summon the second generation? Let him see that Uchiha is not that scary. Sarutobi Hiruzen returned to his cabin. Everything in the cabin was the same as when he had just left, with no changes at all. You coward! Why are you so cowardly? There was a fluctuation in the space outside the wooden house, and Obito appeared from nothingness, his blood-red eyes under the mask staring at Sarutobi Hiruzen. How did you find me? Only those who have established their foundation have spiritual awareness, but the perception ability of a ninja at the 6th level of chi training is far beyond that of an ordinary ninja. Secondly, Obito's Kamui may be difficult for a ninja to deal with, but for a cultivator, Kamui's use of space is too crude. Should I call you Uchiha Madara, or Uchiha Obito? You are definitely not the third Hokage. Who are you? Obito's pupils contracted instantly and he asked. He abandoned the name Uchiha Obito and ventured into the ninja world under the name Uchiha Madara. This gave Uchiha Obito the illusion that he was Uchiha Madara. Unfortunately, he is just a rat who escapes from reality. Obito, you keep hiding and deceiving yourself. Can you really revive your beloved? Sarutobi Hiruzen did not answer Obito's question, but instead questioned Obito. Every word of Sarutobi Hiruzen's was heart-wrenching, and every word was what Obito was most unwilling to face in his heart. You have no right to mention linear. If it weren't for you, Lin wouldn't have died. The Sharingan rotated, Obito formed seals with both hands, and launched a special move. Fire-style storm dance. He first used Kamui to distort space, and then released a powerful fire style, a swirling storm of wind and flames fused together, attacking Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Obito made hand gestures at the same time and used the Golden Light Curse. This curse can not only drive away evil spirits, but its most powerful feature is that it can protect the body with golden light, and can protect the path and the body. He then flashed and dodged Obito's fire style. After all, according to the first law of Hokage, no matter how strong the fire style was, it couldn't hit anyone. If it is an ordinary chi-refining cultivator who does not have a suitable magic weapon in his hand, he will most likely not be able to defeat Obito. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen's yin-yang body refining technique can give him excellent combat power starting from the chi refining stage, which is also the advantage of physical cultivation. Sarutobi Hiruzen, aren't you also a coward? You are responsible for the death of White Fang and the first generation's grandson. Obito flashed forward, chains in his hands flying, trying to lock Sarutobi Hiruzen with the chains, and then used Kamui to suck Sarutobi Hiruzen into another space. After all, this is Konoha, and such a big commotion must have attracted the attention of other ninjas. It won't be easy to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen later when the Sannin and Uchiha ninja arrive. Sarutobi Hiruzen simply reached out, grabbed Obito's chain, and pulled it. Obito felt a huge force, as if there was a wild beast from the wilderness on the other end of the chain. He was unable to resist and was pulled over by Sarutobi Hiruzen. In a split second, Obito turned on hollow and dodged Sarutobi Hiruzen's fist. When Sarutobi Hiruzen's attack missed, he continued to punch out. Each of them was fierce and powerful. Obito can only activate hollow and retreat. If he had been hit by a punch just now, this body would have been scrapped. Obito was in a cold sweat. How could Sarutobi Hiruzen be so strong? The moment of contact, he wanted to use his Sharingan to pull Sarutobi Hiruzen into the different dimension, but he felt a resistance, which should be the effect of the strange golden light on Sarutobi Hiruzen's body. 5 minutes later, how are you supposed to hide? Sarutobi Hiruzen knew all the intel about Uchiha's Obito, while Uchiha Obito knew nothing about Sarutobi Hiruzen. In fact, Sarutobi Hiruzen is not very powerful now. Apart from his powerful body and the golden light spell, he has basically no other means. First, there is no magic weapon for protection, and second, there is no secret technique for attacking. The yin-yang body refining technique can only provide a strong physical body before the foundation is established. After hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Obito became even more timid. He didn't understand why Sarutobi Hiruzen knew so many of his secrets. Where did the information get leaked? Could it be that Sarutobi Hiruzen is another backup left by Uchiha Madara? Just when Obito was about to give up, Orochimaru, Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Shisui arrived. Fugaku and Shisui sensed the power of Mangekyo and quickly rushed over with Orochimaru. Jiraiya and Tsunade were both drunk and didn't come, and no other ninja followed. Fugaku and Shisui are well aware of the power of Mangekyo, and any ninja with weaker strength can only be cannon fodder. After the two of them informed Orochimaru, the three of them decided to come together. Just when Obito released the fire-style ninjutsu, the three of them had already sensed the powerful chakra fluctuations and quickly rushed here. Orochimaru and Fugaku Shisui, a body flicker technique appeared behind Sarutobi Hiruzen, and the four of them confronted Obito not far away. At this time, Obito's clothes were tattered and even a corner of his mask was broken. An unknown Uchiha ninja. Be careful, he is Uchiha Obito, the culprit behind the Nine Tails Rebellion. Sarutobi Hiruzen retreated behind the three men. If the fight continues, Uchiha Obito will most likely find that he has no other means of attack. He can't do anything to Obito, and if Obito keeps using ninjutsu, he may be exhausted to death. Haven't you seen that many cultivators in the chi refining stage were defeated by martial arts masters because of their carelessness? Only after the foundation is established, the gap between cultivators and mortals will gradually widen. You're definitely not Sarutobi Hiruzen. Uchiha Obito still felt that the person in front of him must not be Sarutobi Hiruzen. Whether in appearance or ninjutsu ability, there is a huge difference. After hearing what Uchiha Obito said, the three of them couldn't help but look at Sarutobi Hiruzen. What are you looking at? Are you suspicious of me? Sarutobi Hiruzen is a bit helpless. He has indeed changed a lot, but he is indeed Sarutobi Hiruzen. Don't be fooled, this one is the enemy. Uchiha Fugaku spoke up. He didn't care if Sarutobi Hiruzen was real or not. This Sarutobi Hiruzen gave up the power in his hands, but it did not affect Orochimaru's decision. Even if he is fake, he must be real. Instantly, Uchiha Fugaku activated Mangekyo and stared at Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito, you killed your mentor and harmed fellow ninjas. Today, in the name of the Uchiha clan leader, I will deprive you of your surname. From now on, you are no longer a member of my Uchiha clan. Who are you to deprive me of the name Uchiha? I am Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Obito was a little crazy when he heard that Fugaku was going to take away his surname. Although he wanted to destroy Konoha and the Uchiha, he could not accept being stripped of the Uchiha name. Uchiha Madara is already dead. You are just a coward who used someone else's name. Uchiha Fugaku certainly wouldn't let Uchiha Obito borrow the name of Uchiha Madara. Tomorrow we will inform the ninja world and take away your surname. Being deprived of his surname by his family is undoubtedly a huge insult. In the relatively traditional ninja world, Obito is a stray dog from now on. This also means that Uchiha will not protect Uchiha Obito, and those in the ninja world who covet Uchiha's power will hunt Obito down and cause trouble for him. Fire style extinguish the fire. Obito couldn't bear it any longer and chose to attack. Unfortunately, this was also easily avoided by Uchiha Fugaku using the body replacement technique. Shisui seized the opportunity, raised his ninja sword and rushed towards Obito. Orochimaru also formed seals with both hands and used earth style to restrict Obito's movements. Obito's strength is indeed very strong. It can be said that without knowing his specific information, most of the kage in the ninja world are not as good as him. However, now facing two Uchiha with Mangekyo, as well as the former third Hokage and Sunin, Obito is under a lot of pressure. It can be said that now Konoha has two pairs of Mangekyo and the Sunin in charge and no single ninja village can be Konoha's opponent. The battle with Sarutobi Hiruzen just now had already made Obito very embarrassed. If it weren't for the help of Black Zetsu, which successfully integrated the first generation's purpose cells, Obito would not have much chakra left at this time. Used Hollow to dodge Uchiha Shisui's Sun Dance, which is a combination of fire style and the slashing attack released by the ninja sword, and is Shisui's original ninjutsu. The difference between a genius and an ordinary person may lie in the analysis of ninjutsu. Geniuses can often draw inferences from one example. Not only can they learn existing ninjutsu quickly, but they can also create their own ninjutsu. Just like the fourth Hokage, he learned and even improved the Flying Thunder God technique of the second generation and created the powerful ninjutsu called Raiznan. It is difficult for ordinary people to learn ordinary ninjutsu because the gap is too big. Before awakening Mangekyo, Obito had always been a laggard, even worse than ordinary people. He hated genius and despised arrogant people. Darkening is 3 times stronger, and whitening is 7 times weaker. The evil Obito is naturally extremely strong, but now facing the 4 ninjas in front of him, he still has the idea of retreating. He is still young and can plan slowly. With the help of Kamui and Black Zetsu, there is no need to rush. Sarutobi Hiruzen can also put it aside for now, train Nagato first, and use the power of Rinnegan to destroy Konoha and Uchiha. Wood style Hell's Chaos. Instead of choosing fire style, wood style was used, which was also a wise choice. The first generation's wood style appeared on an Uchiha, not to mention Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Shisui. Orochimaru also opened his eyes wide in surprise. Wasn't the transplantation of first generation eye cells successful? Why can this Uchiha have the power of Senju? And Obito's wood style is more lethal than Yamato's. By the time the 3 destroyed the wood style released by Obito, Obito had already used Hollow to leave. As long as Obito is determined to run away, there is really no way to stop him unless you have the ability to kill him with one blow. Third generation master, tomorrow I will announce Obito's crimes in the name of the Uchiha clan and strip him of his last name. Tomorrow Konoha will also make Obito an S-rank rebel ninja. Orochimaru nodded, then thought of something. If a Konoha shinobi encounters Obito, he can abandon his mission and the village will not pursue the matter. This was the Rock Shinobi's strategy against Namikaze Minato, and it was used by Orochimaru at this time. Uchiha Obito is very powerful, and his abilities are very strange. He is on par with the 4th generation's Flying Thunder God technique. The best option for the village's ninjas when they encounter him is to run away. Let's go back first. Sarutobi Hiruzen also chose to return to the Sarutobi clan. If Obito continues to attack, staying here may be dangerous. The Uchiha's banquet was still going on, and except for the 4 and a few Umbu, no one knew that a great battle had just taken place on the edge of Konoha. After this banquet, the villagers' views on the Uchiha changed a lot. Although the Uchiha clan is very arrogant, they are not as bad as imagined. Even a little cute? The next day, when most people woke up from their hangover, they received some shocking news. Uchiha Obito, the ninja who was thought to have died in the 3rd Ninja War, is not dead. Instead, he has become a terrifying S-rank rebel. At the same time, Obito was also the culprit who caused the Nine Tails Rebellion and killed his own mentor with his own hands. Uchiha Fugaku, in the name of the Uchiha clan's patriarch, deprived Uchiha Obito of his surname. From now on he is a stray dog. 3rd generation leader Sarutobi Hiruzen also issued instructions, directly announcing the abilities of Uchiha Obito's Sharingan and informing all Konoha shinobi at the same time. If you encounter Uchiha Obito while on a mission, you can abandon the mission and escape. This undoubtedly caused another uproar. After all, White Fang's death was caused by him giving up the mission in order to save his companions, which made him the target of public criticism. Even the teammates he saved turned around and blamed him for the death of this talented ninja. Now the 3rd generation announced that they can choose to give up the mission for the sake of their own lives? This caused quite a shock to most people. In the minds of many people, ninjas are just tools, and it is normal to sacrifice their lives for the village and the mission. After all, this is the education we received since childhood. The ninja world is extremely distorted. Ninjas clearly possess powerful strength, but they are willing to become swords in the hands of those in power. There is nothing that can be done about it. Ninjas have been taught how to kill and burn people since childhood, so it is normal for them to have inner deformities. However, as the Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen changes, these problems will slowly be resolved. This order was the first blow to the traditional concepts of Konoha shinobi. After learning these things, the person who was most shocked was not the Uchiha clan, but Kakashi. Obito didn't die? The teacher's death was caused by Obito? Kakashi couldn't understand. Kakashi, do you want to have a youth duel with me? Might Guy saw Kakashi and rushed over immediately, but when he saw the look in Kakashi's eyes he shut his mouth. Even Might Guy could sense that Kakashi was in a bad mood right now. Ahem, let's compete next time. Are you in a bad mood? Kakashi shook his head and didn't answer Might Guy's question. He just wanted to go to the Hokage's office as soon as possible to ask about Obito's specific situation. Well then, let's fight again next time, ha ha ha. After saying that, Might Guy went to work out on his own. Kakashi took a deep breath and rushed to the Hokage's office using the body flicker technique. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was in his office, heard a knock on the door. Come in, it's Kakashi. Is it about Obito? Kakashi entered the Hokage's office, where Uchiha Fugaku and the head of the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Hayashi, were also present. Obito, are you really still alive? Yes, he awakened Mangekyo, and he was also responsible for the Nine Tails Rebellion. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and told Kakashi what happened last night. Kakashi was silent for a long time after hearing this. He found it hard to accept this. Looking at the silent Kakashi, Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression became serious. Kakashi, I want you to give that Sharingan to the village. The fact that Kakashi could inherit Obito's eyes was naturally the result of negotiations between the village and the Uchiha clan. This was also the choice of Sarutobi Hiruzen. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's opinion, Kakashi was a promising talent who could perhaps be trained to become the next Hokage. Fugaku next to him also agreed that Kakashi should keep the Sharingan. After all, it was left to Kakashi by Obito. What they didn't know at the time was that Obito was not dead. Although this Sharingan helped Kakashi gain fame, it also restricted Kakashi's growth. After all, Kakashi has neither Uchiha blood nor Senju blood, and his Sharingan cannot be closed, which consumes his chakra all the time. The conflict between bloodlines is also constantly affecting Kakashi. A genius ninja who became a Jonin at the age of 12, and has not yet broken through the cage level to this day, all because of the Sharingan. Kakashi looked up. The incident had a huge impact on him. Obito once said that he wished he could be Kakashi's left eye to help him see the future. After Rin's death, he finally regained his faith, but he was told that Obito was the culprit who killed Namikaze Minato? Sarutobi Hiruzen and Uchiha Fugaku's words forced Kakashi to believe that this was indeed the truth. Kakashi, we've already had a run-in with Obito. He could come back at any moment and ask you to take back the Sharingan. However, the village still respects your choice. It is up to you to decide whether to keep the eye or give it to the village for protection. Fugaku next to him did not comment, and he obviously agreed with what Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Orochimaru next to him had a very subtle look on his face. If he could get this Sharingan, he might be able to research some secrets of the Uchiha bloodline. Obito started the Nine Tails Rebellion and never got the Sharingan back from Kakashi, which shows that Obito did not want to see Kakashi. I want to take this eye. Kakashi thought for a moment before looking up at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Kakashi wants to catch Obito himself. This Sharingan has become a shackle for him to become stronger. He wants to become stronger, defeat Obito himself, and then question him why he did this. I will transplant a new eye for you. After that, Orochimaru looked at Uchiha Fugaku and Sarutobi Hiruzen and said, let me study this eye for a while, okay? Fugaku nodded. If this Sharingan was placed within the clan, it might cause a fight. After all, they were Uchiha, and transplanting Mangekyo would not cause a rejection reaction like Kakashi. Possessing a Mangekyo, one can instantly possess the power of a cage, which will cause the Uchiha clan, which has finally stabilized, to become unstable again. Orochimaru smiled, he couldn't wait to study the power of Uchiha. What secrets do Senju and Uchiha hold? Perhaps he will soon find out. With Orochimaru and Tsunade around, it was easy to transplant a new eye into Kakashi. Hyuga Hayashi stood up and chose to say goodbye and leave. Such things were not hidden from him, which meant that the village also trusted the Hyuga clan, which made him feel much more at ease. Uchiha has been very popular recently, so he couldn't help but want to visit Sarutobi Hiruzen to see Sarutobi Hiruzen's attitude. Now it seems that Sarutobi Hiruzen has really changed and is no longer the same as before. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen's temperament is indeed a bit scary now, in terms of hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen is doing much better than before. This is something that is now recognized by most ninja clans. After Sarutobi Hiruzen defeated Danzo, the development of the village was back on track. There was no more infighting and self-consumption, and everyone felt the changes in the village. That afternoon, Kakashi came to the medical department, where Tsunade and Orochimaru worked together to give him a brand new eye. I drank too much yesterday. Jiraiya woke up in the morning and was a little overwhelmed when he learned what happened yesterday. He and Tsunade had been drinking a little too much and were completely unaware of this. After wandering outside for a few years, I finally returned to the village. I could see that the village was getting better thanks to my efforts, and I also reconciled my ties with my former best friends and teachers. I couldn't help but drink too much. And Jiraiya was still thinking, could something happen while Tsunade was drunk? It turned out that his alcohol tolerance was very poor, and Tsunade was unconscious even though he wasn't drunk. After hearing what happened today, Jiraiya rushed to the medical department with his new apprentice Shisui. Jiraiya also admires Kakashi, and so does Shisui. Of course, Might Guy and Konoha's new generation of ninjas are all here. Everyone knew that Obito and Kakashi gave up their Sharingan, and they all wanted to come over and give Kakashi some comfort. You should have woken up Jiraiya and me yesterday, maybe you could have kept that Obito. In the operating room, Tsunade said as she injected Kakashi with anesthetic. Orochimaru shook his head. It's not that simple. If he wants to escape with his Mangekyo ability, we can't stop him. Tsunade did not respond. For ninjas like her and Jiraiya, it was impossible to get drunk unless they wanted to. It's not the wine that makes people drunk, it's the people themselves. For Tsunade, it was no difficulty to replace an eye. Soon, the Mangekyo was placed in a glass bottle and came into Orochimaru's hand, and Kakashi got a brand new eye. As for where this eye came from, Konoha's torture department has many. Orochimaru got the Mangekyo, and left the medical department as if he had found a treasure, and rushed to his laboratory. He wanted to see what secrets were hidden in Mangekyo. Kakashi regained consciousness quickly. A ninja's body is much stronger than that of an ordinary person and he recovers very quickly. With the help of medical ninjutsu, the new eye matched him perfectly. When I opened my eyes, there was no soreness or astringency, and the flow of chakra in my body became smoother. Obito's eyes are gone, and without any obstacles, he wants to sever this bond with his own hands. Soon, this news spread from Konoha to the entire ninja world, causing an uproar. Obito, are you stupid? Black Zetsu naturally got the news. Obito's information was actually made public. Their plans will be greatly hindered and Nagato will become suspicious of Obito. And from now on, I can no longer use the identity of Uchiha Madara as a cover. This Obito is really stupid. Black Zetsu has been dominating the ninja world for so many years. As the biggest behind-the-scenes mastermind in the ninja world, Obito is truly the worst chess piece he has ever led. Obito is the angriest one. Now the whole ninja world knows that he has been expelled from the Uchiha clan. From now on, he is a homeless dog without a surname. This was unacceptable to Obito, but he had no choice. Who knew Uchiha had two pairs of Mangekyo? The most suspicious one is that Sarutobi Hiruzen. He knows all my information. At this time, Yahiko had already died in the conspiracy of Hanzo of the Salamander and Danzo. Unfortunately, Sarutobi Hiruzen was still a little late in dealing with Danzo. Obito has already used the identity of Uchiha Madara to form a partnership with Nagato, and Akatsuki has become an evil organization that collects the tailed beasts. At this time, Nagato was working on Pain's 6 paths, preparing to take revenge on Hanzo of the Salamander. Obito, aren't you going to explain this to me? Nagato naturally also got the news. Although he didn't believe that Obito was Uchiha Madara from the beginning, he didn't expect Obito's identity to be so ordinary. What's there to explain? No matter what, our goals are the same. Obito's identity was revealed by Nagato and he looked very unhappy. Nagato looked at Uchiha Obito deeply and didn't say much. Nagato is now also blinded by hatred and only wants to make the ninja world feel pain. Only pain and fear can bring true peace. Nagato's views can neither be said to be right nor wrong. Peace is indeed something that can never be achieved, and eternal peace is even more of a luxury. There are intrigues among the immortals, let alone mortals. Even if there were no Otsutsuki clan and no ninjas, wars would still break out between nations. The location of Rain Shinobi Village was destined to be a buffer zone between the great powers, and even with a cage-level powerhouse like Hanzo of the Salamander, there was no way to change that. Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't know much about the situation in the ninja world. Information in this era is still relatively closed. Now he has only one goal, and that is the star of the Star Ninja Village. A meteorite from the universe can activate a person's chakra, thereby mastering the peacock technique, which is a technique that can activate the chakra. To put it simply, the radiation from this meteorite can react to chakra, and prolonged exposure can cause great harm to the body. From a scientific point of view, this meteorite should contain some heavy elements with strong radioactivity. But from the perspective of a cultivator, this is just a piece of meteorite from outer space that can react to spiritual energy. It would be a good idea to collect them first, then go to the lost country of whirlpools to see if there are any herbs and treasures, and then check with the country of craftsmen to see if there are any good materials. I heard that there is an active volcano in the country of craftsmen, and the people here are very good at making various tools. The ninja tools of the 5 major countries are basically supplied by the country of craftsmen. It is said that Kanaha's ninja tool shop, which is owned by Tenten's parents, has a relationship with the country of craftsmen, and their source of goods is ordered from the country of craftsmen. If I am strong enough and have refined a strong enough spiritual weapon, I will definitely go to the Water Kingdom to take a look. Places like the Water Kingdom, which are surrounded by the sea and covered with thick fog all year round, usually have hidden treasures. The climates of the 5 major countries are all very unique, but the 5 major countries are actually not that big, and they should not have such a changeable climate. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's understanding, it should be the existence of some secret treasures that created the special environment. Or perhaps it is these different environments that give birth to these unique treasures. However, before leaving Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen still has to visit the Ape Demon King clan. As early as the Sengoku era, the Sarutobi clan reached a cooperation with the Monkey King clan. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen has no chakra now, Reiki can do the same things that chakra can do, and the effect is even better. Just like Naruto and Jiraiya, after entering Sage mode, they will be strengthened in all aspects. At the same time, after using natural energy, their ninjutsu can also be strengthened. Sarutobi Hiruzen is now the resident Sage mode. After all, he is a cultivator. He could also use the summoning spell with his aura, but he hadn't summoned an ape demon in a long time. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Inma are both quite old and haven't fought side by side for a long time. It is necessary to meet them. The Summoning Beast clan in the ninja world has hidden many secrets. Still came to the cabin on the edge of the Death Forest and summoned the ape demon with the summoning spell. Boom! With a loud explosion, the ape demon appeared in a puff of smoke. Hiruzen, are there any enemies? After the Monkey King appeared, he subconsciously looked around, but did not find any enemies. He asked Sarutobi Hiruzen in confusion. Turning around to see Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Monkey King's mouth dropped open. How did this old pervert become so handsome? As Sarutobi Hiruzen's old teammate, Inma knows that this seemingly serious third Hokage is actually a complete sultry person, peeping into the women's bathhouse with a crystal ball every day. Why have you become so young and upright now? It's so envious of this muscular body. There's something wrong with you. Inma looked left and right and felt that this was not Sarutobi Hiruzen, but the summoning technique could not be faked, so this was Sarutobi Hiruzen. The Ape Demon clan is not very powerful among summoning beasts. As they are mainly mammals, their growth cycle is much slower than that of frogs, snakes, and katsuyu. Moreover, the reproduction capacity of the Ape Demon clan is relatively poor, and no new generation has been born. What's wrong with me? There's something wrong with you. Inma keenly felt that Sarutobi Hiruzen had no chakra in his body, only extremely pure natural energy. This natural energy made it involuntarily want to get close to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression turned serious. Okay, I'm here to see you for something serious. What's wrong? Inma also put away his smile. He and Sarutobi Hiruzen have been brothers for many years. The Inma clan, like Mount Mayaboku, chose to cooperate with Konoha. After all, humans are the protagonists of this planet. The forward protectors on the heads of the Monkey Kings are all the forward protectors of the ninjas of Konoha. I want to know the history of this world before its Satsuki came. The ape demon took a deep breath. How do you know it's Satsuki? But it doesn't matter. I don't know much. If you really want to know, come with me to the tribe of the Monkey Demon Clan. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and said, you should have noticed my changes. I have inherited the Immortal's legacy and want to take a different path. Sage of Six Paths, the ape demon was a little surprised, because in his understanding, the Immortal was the Sage of Six Paths. He doesn't deserve it, he's a true Immortal. The yin-yang body refining art was at least created by some old monster in the Mahayana period, so it is not an exaggeration to say that he was created by an Immortal. The ape demon nodded and didn't say much. Let's go. I'll use the reverse summoning technique to take you to the tribe's land. The Monkey King released the summoning technique and disappeared in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Afterwards, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt the call from the unknown, and responded with a dizzying feeling. When he opened his eyes again, he had arrived at the Ape Demon Clan's territory. In Sarutobi Hiruzen's memory, he seemed to have visited the Sarutobi clan's land once when he was very young. This is Hueguo Mountain. In fact, there is also a Hueguo Mountain in the ninja world, but it was taken away by Four Tails. The ape demon was a little angry when he said this. The area where summoning beasts live is an unknown world far away from the ninja world. Here, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt spiritual energy far beyond the ninja world. According to the concentration of spiritual energy, it can be considered a nice paradise. Mount Mayaboko Ryokai Cave and the Wet Bone Forest are the three sacred places in the summoning beast realm. The spiritual energy should be even richer, right? Your question may only be answered by our ancestors. Let's go. UNMO led the way in front, and walked into the depths of Hueguo Mountain with Sarutobi Hiruzen. The water curtain cave is in front of us. My father and his men built the water curtain cave in the flower fruit mountain of the ninja realm. We had a great battle with Four Tails there at that time. The Saruman clan is physically closer to humans, and they can even learn ninjutsu, but it was during their conflict with Four Tails that they sustained damage to their vitality. Along the way, Sarutobi Hiruzen was dazzled by the various strange plants and minerals. It is normal for such rich spiritual energy to produce many spiritual herbs and medicines. Sarutobi Hiruzen also felt that the Sarutobi clan was really dwindling in numbers and lacking successors. After crossing a waterfall, he followed the ape demon to the water curtain cave. There were quite a few little monkeys here, running around and playing. When they saw Sarutobi Hiruzen and the Monkey King, they swarmed over them. Who is this? They're our guests. A group of little monkeys were the most mischievous. 3 or 4 of them climbed onto Sarutobi Hiruzen, some pulling his hair, and some pulling his beard. All right, stop making trouble later. We have something to do with our ancestors. The ape demon waved his hand to drive it away, and only when they heard the ancestors' words did the little monkeys scatter. Let's go, little monkeys. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't care, the little monkeys were still pretty cute. They arrived at the depths of the water curtain cave, where a hunchbacked old monkey was dozing off. Grandfather, I have brought Sarutobi Hiruzen here. He wishes to ask you some questions. Another little monkey has arrived. The old monkey opened his eyes and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, and couldn't help but let out a cry of surprise. Ha! You're an interesting little monkey. Why don't you become a ninja? Chakra hurts others and yourself. I have given up. It's a good choice. The old monkey nodded and then shook his head. No matter how you did it, since it's already like this, don't practice chakra anymore. What do you want to ask me? It seems that the old monkey really knows some inside information. I want to know what it was like before Etsutsuki arrived, and how did the people in summoning beasts train? Etsutsuki? This is an ancient name. Our Saruman clan's lifespan is not as long as those immortals in Mount Mayaboku. I just learned some things from my predecessors. Before Etsutsuki came, chakra did not exist in this world. Both humans and beasts relied on absorbing natural energy to cultivate. However, humans who can cultivate natural energy are very rare, so beasts have a unique advantage. So the whole world was basically ruled by us beasts, and even the survival of the human race became a problem. Until one day, a powerful human appeared. He was so powerful that it was unimaginable. He killed a large number of powerful beasts and used powerful secret techniques to create a world. This is the world where the summoning beasts live now. A large number of beastmen were transferred to this world. For unknown reasons, he disappeared again inexplicably, and the summoning beast slowly rose again until Etsutsuki arrived. The chakra brought by Etsutsuki has had a huge impact on this world. We summoning men can no longer absorb natural energy as perfectly as we once did. We must absorb chakra and natural energy at the same time. We can no longer be as powerful as we once were. After the old monkey finished speaking, he sighed. He had heard these things from his elders. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. This world once had a training system, but it was not very complete and no inheritance had been born. However, a genius appeared and killed a large number of monsters, winning living space for the human race. In the end, he probably ascended to another world. After that, the Otsutsuki clan arrived and completely destroyed the world's practice system, leading the entire world onto a wrong path. Otsutsuki's sacred tree not only absorbs the energy of the creatures in this world, but also absorbs natural energy, but the conversion efficiency is very low. The old monkey talked for a long time and felt a little tired. He looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen. That's all I know. Have you found your old training method? Can you just absorb natural energy without practicing chakra? Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded, and in a way, it was true. Little monkey, can you promise me something? You say. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and said he would definitely help as long as it was within his ability. Later, let's take the flower and fruit mountain of the ninja world from Four Tails. Okay, the 8th demon clan and Four Tails' son Wukong have a feud, and the current situation of a lack of successors is caused by Four Tails. Okay, I can guarantee that I can do this. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen say this, the old monkey nodded in satisfaction. The ninja world has developed for thousands of years, and they have long adapted to the existence of chakra. They cannot completely give up chakra like Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen could feel that the world where the summoning beasts existed was also restricting the training of these summoning beasts. This should be the backup plan left by the previous strong man. I want to look for some herbs and minerals in Huiguo Mountain and nearby. Is that okay? Of course, these are of no use to us. Just don't go too far into the territories of other races. In fact, there is no need to worry too much. The three most powerful forces in the summoning world are the three holy places, and there are only a few other summoning beast companies that can form tribes. It may also be because these three holy places have some relationship with the Sage of Six Paths and left behind some heritage. Just like the immortal talisman that can resurrect people, perhaps it was left behind by the person who ascended to heaven in this world. Sarutobi Hiruzen and the Monkey King came out of the water curtain cave together. Hiruzen, I don't know what happened, but if you need me, you can always summon me. I still have some strength in my old bones. Although Enma is old, he still misses the days when he and Sarutobi Hiruzen roamed the ninja world together. Don't worry, I'll take you to take down Four Tails in a while. Just your words are enough. If you want to go back, just find me on the mountain ahead. After saying this, the Monkey King flashed away, leaving Sarutobi Hiruzen alone to explore the summoning world. The spiritual energy in the summoning world is very rich, which is probably related to the fact that these summoning beasts do not know how to practice cultivation. The appearance of chakra has made these original monsters grow much faster, and even ordinary wild beasts can have huge sizes. However, it also curbed the growth space of these summoning beasts. Even the great toad sage that has survived from the Otsutsuki era to the present day is not as powerful as imagined. Around Huiguo Mountain, Sarutobi Hiruzen found many magical herbs and medicines, most of which were of young age. The 8th demon clan would definitely pick these magical herbs and medicines regularly to strengthen their bodies. These elixirs are also helpful for chakra practice, but the effect is not that good if taken directly. It seems that if we want to find elixirs with older ages, we can only leave the area near Huiguo Mountain and explore deep into the summoning realm. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen's current cultivation level is only the 6th level of chi refining, which is the level of a jonin. This summoning world was left behind by a powerful person who was suspected to be in the Mahayana stage and broke through the void to ascend to the fairyland. Perhaps it has backup plans and inheritance. Moreover, these summoning beasts have lived here for so long, so there might be some monsters. Sarutobi Hiruzen decided to first look for some elixirs around Huiguo Mountain, refine some pills, and improve his cultivation. Although there are no offensive spells before the foundation building stage of the yin-yang body refining technique, the strength of the physical body will increase a lot with every improvement in cultivation. The ninja's body is still very fragile and relies entirely on the blessing of chakra. Even the strongest physical technique in the ninja world, 8 inner gates, relies on squeezing the potential of the physical body and forcibly using the hidden potential of the physical body. The price is lifespan, and it also requires long periods of training to squeeze the physical body. It is not the right way. The development of this ninja world seems to have no consideration for the consequences, and only seeks to squeeze out the most powerful combat power in the shortest time. This has nothing to do with Sarutobi Hiruzen anymore. After dispersing his chakra and starting to train his body, he was destined to take a different path. Sarutobi Hiruzen chose to live directly in Huiguo Mountain and became friends with the little monkeys there. Sarutobi Hiruzen's nickname is Monkey. The Sarutobi clan and the Monkey Demon clan have been partners for many years and they have no difficulty adapting to living in Huiguo Mountain. After a few days, Sarutobi Hiruzen had almost collected all the elixirs around the Flower Fruit Mountain. It happened that inside the Flower Fruit Mountain, in addition to the Water Curtain Cave, there was also a fire eye that was connected to the earth fire and could be used to make elixirs. In his previous life, Sarutobi Hiruzen had been refining pills a lot, so it was normal that the quality of the medicinal materials would be poor without an alchemy furnace. After all, his previous life was already the Dharma ending age, and the elixirs that could be found on Earth were not even as good as those around the Flower Fruit Mountain, yet he still refined a lot of elixirs. There is no way around it. In the Dharma ending age, those who practice Taoism must overcome difficulties. The ninja world is also a world where the path of practice is cut off and the entire world is on the wrong path. If you want to cultivate immortality, you must rely on yourself. Time passed quickly, and through alchemy practice, Sarutobi Hiruzen reached the 7th level of Qi refining. It is not far from the 9th level of Qi refining, and now it is necessary to start preparing the elixirs needed to break through the foundation building, as well as the materials for refining magic weapons. During the time in Huiguo Mountain, the little monkeys paid close attention to Sarutobi Hiruzen at first, but later they found that Sarutobi Hiruzen's daily life was boring except for meditating, hunting and eating, so they gradually stopped paying attention to him. The 7th level of Qi training is already the level of an elite Jonin, but judging by Sarutobi Hiruzen's physical strength, although he cannot be said to be invincible in the ninja world, he has no problem protecting himself. The ninja world mainly uses large-scale, highly lethal ninjutsu to crush low-level ninjas, or uses strange secret techniques and ninja tools to catch the opponent by surprise, and the emphasis is on instant kills. A truly strong person needs to analyze the opponent's intelligence in the shortest possible time and launch targeted attacks. Hanzo of the Salamander became famous because of his strange poison. The toxin is very difficult to handle and detect, which is why this guy can be called a demigod. Sarutobi Hiruzen's strongest point is his taijutsu, plus he can summon monkey demons, so his main attack is to surprise his opponent and finish him off with one punch. After leaving Huiguo Mountain, the surrounding environment becomes extremely wild. There is absolutely no sign of human activity, and even traces of large wild animal activity are rare. The mountains are towering and the rocks are jagged, and the various trees require dozens of people to hug them together. Fortunately, Sarutobi Hiruzen had reached the 7th level of Qi training, which was considered a small achievement. His body was strong enough for him to move swiftly and explore in this wild land. The harvest was gratifying because of the relatively abundant spiritual energy and the fact that no one was picking them, which resulted in a large number of spiritual herbs being produced. At first, Sarutobi Hiruzen picked up all the spiritual herbs he saw, but later he found that he couldn't carry them all. Even if he sealed them with a sealing technique, the number was still too much. Starting from the 2nd day, we only selected elixirs that were old enough and relatively rare. During this period, he also encountered many summoning beasts guarding medicinal herbs, but none of them could be a match for Sarutobi Hiruzen. Except for a highly poisonous bamboo pit viper that caused Sarutobi Hiruzen to have a lot of trouble, he finally killed it with fire style. As a result, he obtained 400-year-old vermilion fruits. After all this search, just by eating various spiritual medicines, Sarutobi Hiruzen was not far from the 8th level of Qi training. When Sarutobi Hiruzen returned to Huiguo Mountain, he began to practice again. It was obviously not enough to just take elixirs to improve his cultivation. He could not rush to achieve the state of Qi refining and foundation building. On the other side, in Konoha, it seems that everyone doesn't care so much about the disappearance of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Konoha is now thriving. Sarutobi Hiruzen has not shown up in the past few days. Orochimaru and Nara Shikaku are handling Konoha's affairs. The temptation of 8 Tails Jinchuriki and Mangekyo is too great for Orochimaru. Under normal circumstances, we should study 8 Tails Jinchuriki first. After all, Cloud Shinobi Village will definitely send an envoy to ask them to bring back 8 Tails Jinchuriki. This generation's 8 Tails Jinchuriki and 4th Raikage are partners, not brothers but better than brothers. If the 8 Tails Jinchuriki is not returned, the Raikage will most likely start a war, and another ninja world war will break out. In today's Konoha, both civilians and ninjas have not recovered from the pain caused by the last ninja war, and it is obviously inappropriate to blindly start a war. But the temptation of Mangekyo was too great, and Orochimaru could not resist the desire to study it. Sometimes, having too many experimental materials can be a happy trouble. The delegation from Cloud Shinobi has entered the Fire Country, and the Umbu on the Hokage side has also received the news. Killer Bee has been temporarily released from Orochimaru's research department. After all, conducting human experiments on hostages is an extremely unethical thing. Sumili was also released from prison by Umbu, and because she was Killer Bee's apprentice and only had Shinin strength, she was not subjected to particularly strict torture. This time Konoha won a great victory. All the ninjas who were captured alive were bargaining chips and were not targeted at them. However, Sumili was still shocked when he saw Killer Bee's appearance. She was just locked up with her chakra sealed, so she didn't have to worry about 3 meals a day. Orochimaru has been researching Killer Bee for nearly half a month. I have to have my blood drawn every day and face a weird scientist who sticks out his long tongue and sneers from time to time. This is a plot in the novel. Even if Killer Bee is 8 Tails Jinchuriki, he still suffered a lot of mental torture. Master, what did the people of Konoha do to you? Even Samui, who was usually very cold and aloof, couldn't help but look worried at this moment. I thought that the people of Konoha would not have subjected Killer Bee to any inhuman torture. Could it be? Samui covered his mouth and recalled some plots in the novel. Although Samui looks cold, she is actually quite different inside. It was so scary. Killer Bee still felt a little scared when he thought about his experiences over the past few days. This terrifying guy Orochimaru left him with a huge psychological trauma. Not to mention Killer Bee, even 8 Tails in his body is a little afraid of Orochimaru. This guy actually used secret techniques to extract its chakra, and even succeeded. Samui sighed. He didn't expect that the people of Konoha were so perverted that they could even harm his master, a bearded uncle. He reached out and patted Killer Bee on the shoulder, and said to him, "Master, it's okay. Some things just have to be experienced." This is how the misunderstanding between master and disciple arose. There was a hint of heartache in Samui's eyes when he looked at Killer Bee. Both she and Killer Bee had their chakras sealed, and now they have been released, which should mean that Cloud Shinobi's men are about to arrive. I can only visit Konoha first. Killer Bee sighed. He needed to recover and soothe the pain in his heart. I have to say that Konoha, as the #1 ninja village, is still very powerful. The village is much larger than Cloud Shinobi, and the customs and practices are completely different. Although the two can move around in Konoha, there are of course Umbu keeping an eye on them at all times to prevent them from escaping. The most important thing is Killer Bee. No matter what happens to others, Killer Bee must not have any problems. Jinchuriki is a strategic weapon for the ninja village, a powerful killer on the battlefield, and the face of a village. If all the Jinchuriki of a village were captured alive, it would mean a total loss of face. Cloud Shinobi village is now facing this embarrassing situation. Jinchuriki has been captured alive. Fortunately, the Jinchuriki were not killed, so there is still room for negotiation, but Cloud Shinobi village will inevitably have to pay a heavy price this time. Killer Bee and Samui were not in the mood to hang around. After all, they were now prisoners. When they walked on the streets of Konoha, they could feel that the villagers around them were very hostile to them. Samui was in a bit of pain. This was completely an unprovoked disaster for her. She had been persuading Killer Bee not to leave Yunlii Gorge along the way, but Killer Bee still didn't listen. As soon as they reached the border, they met Jiraiya's team and were wiped out. Cloud Shinobi will definitely be punished this time when he returns, right? Luckily, the guys at Cloud Shinobi village are all about muscle, so there won't be any weird punishments. But why am I looking forward to it? The person in charge of monitoring the two people was Kakashi, who was watching them not far away. Ever since giving up Obito's eyes, Kakashi's training speed can be said to have advanced by leaps and bounds, and he is no longer the same Seiki Gogo as before. After losing the Sharingan, most of the ninjutsu copied with the Sharingan also disappeared, and now Kakashi has the ninja sword on his back again. White Fang was shattered by Rock Shinobi's ninja at the Kanabi Bridge, but now, Kakashi has reforged the sword, just like he is reforging his once broken will. Kakashi wants to make a name for himself as the White Fang again and defeat Obito with this ninja sword. He will break the old ties. Darui and Nozomi finally arrived in Konoha with a handwritten letter from the 4th Reikage. The two of them hurried along the way because they were afraid that something might happen to Killer Bee. After all, Jinchuriki are difficult to deal with and manage. If Jinchuriki keeps going berserk and cannot be appeased, they are likely to be killed. However, this is Konoha after all, and the seal against the tailed beasts is very complete. There is also Yamato, the successor of the wood style, and the sealing ninjutsu left by the Uzumaki. Orochimaru, Nara Shikaku and Tsunade received the delegation from Cloud Shinobi village. Darui is the only inheritor of the Black Lightning style and the next Reikage. She is also the elite of Cloud Shinobi village, an all-round ninja who is proficient in illusion, medical treatment, and perception. The current new generation of Cloud Shinobi has not yet fully grown up, but there is no other way. Facing the current situation, they can only let the two of them come over. Since Sarutobi Hiruzen was not there, it was naturally Orochimaru who received them. Orochimaru was still the same as before, with a faint smile on his face, which made Killer Bee, who was being guarded by Konoha Umbu not far away, shudder. Samui sat with Killer Bee, looking at she and Darui and not daring to speak. After all, she was still a prisoner. Master Orochimaru, this is a handwritten letter from our Master Reikage. Darui handed the Reikage's handwritten letter to Orochimaru. Orochimaru took it and looked at it, somewhat non-committal. It's nothing more than threats and promises, demanding that Konoha release Killer Bee. Unfortunately, no matter how tough the Reikage appears in the letter, he cannot hide the fact that he is weak inside. After all, Cloud Shinobi was really in trouble this time. It was wrong for Cloud Shinobi village to harass the border of the Fire Nation, and the capture of 8 Tails put them in a passive position. I'm a very pragmatic person. Orochimaru put down the Reikage's letter. The handwritten letter from the irritable Reikage was of little value. It still depended on what bargaining chips Cloud Shinobi could bring to the table. You guys better tell me what bargaining chips Cloud Shinobi village can bring this time. Darui and she looked at each other. This Orochimaru was very different from the 3rd generation and 4th generation Orochimaru. He seemed to be much more difficult to deal with. This is also normal. Orochimaru is not a pure politician. For him, Konoha is the last soft spot in his heart, and it is also his scientific research base. This time Cloud Shinobi will definitely pay a heavy price, and Orochimaru will also take this opportunity to announce to the entire ninja world that Konoha has changed. She is a calm ninja and the main force in this negotiation. The Reikage gave him a lot of autonomy and he could agree to any conditions of Konoha as long as they were not excessive. Nara Shikaku and she started a game, and in the end the Nara clan was superior. Cloud Shinobi village paid a huge price to bring back Killer Bee. Fortunately, Konoha did not act aggressively and gave in after getting what they wanted. Orochimaru and Nara Shikaku both knew that many times the promises between villages were a joke. Even the so-called alliances and cooperative relationships cannot be trusted. For example, Konoha and the Whirlpool country are old friends, and the cooperation between the two sides is very in-depth. Many spiral patterns can still be found in Konoha today. But didn't Konoha still watch helplessly as the country of whirlpools was destroyed and the Uzumaki clan was exterminated? No matter how nice the words are, wars will still break out over interests. Other countries and ninja villages could not accept that the Fire Nation and Konoha could occupy such a good position, while they had to face harsh natural environment and scarce resources. The Sunin and Nara Shikaku were standing in the Hokage's office, watching Cloud Shinobi and his group leave. The war will still come, but before the war comes, we will be strong enough, Orochimaru muttered. After becoming Hokage, he gained a greater understanding of war. Because of the imbalance of interests, the war will never stop. There are still conflicts within Konoha, and many people in the Land of Fire are unhappy with Konoha, believing that Konoha's existence is a threat to the daimyo. If this is the case with one country, how can there be peace between countries? Jiraiya was also thinking, but he was much more optimistic than Orochimaru. Orochimaru, don't think too much. Isn't everything getting better? Tsunade chose to remain silent. With the death of her lover and brother, and the decline of her family, she is now the only remaining Senju. She carries far more on her shoulders than Jiraiya and Orochimaru. The village is her village, but it is not her village. Apart from the medical department, she seems somewhat out of place in this village. Sarutobi Hiruzen also returned to Konoha. During his time in the summoning realm, his supplies were almost used up. His clothes were tattered, like a savage. The seals on Killer Bee, Samui, and 2 other Jonin have been lifted. Killer Bee and 8 Tails have reconnected. Bye. We are really screwed this time. Jayaki was a little helpless, as Uchiha was the nemesis of their tailed beasts, and while his attention was still on Jiraiya and the Toad, he lost contact with Killer Bee with a Mangekyo illusion. Then there is the wood style and the seal, which is impossible to break free from. Fortunately, Killer Bee was not killed, otherwise it would have to wait a long time to revive and then be captured and sealed. It's nice to be able to chat with Killer Bee when I have nothing to do. Ah, who knew how Konoha could be so strong? Killer Bee sighed and communicated with Jayaki in his mind. In the Third Ninja War, Konoha left the impression of being weak to other ninja villages, and except for Namikaze Minato, there was no highlight. The Nine Tails Rebellion caused Konoha to lose Namikaze Minato, as well as Nine Tails Jinchuriki. It was thought that Konoha was now extremely weak. The team they sent out did whatever they wanted at the border of the Fire Country, but who knew they would kill Jiraiya and Uchiha directly? Killer Bee-sama, Reikage-sama is really angry this time. She's face also looked unhappy. They were completely at a disadvantage during the negotiation process because Killer Bee was caught. They were too passive and couldn't stand up at all. And the pressure from the Sunin was also very great. Jiraiya, Tsunade and Orochimaru, just looking at him, made him break into cold sweats. Fortunately, Konoha did not act aggressively and left him some leeway. Samui was recalling the burly man she met when she just left Konoha. They, the Cloud Shinobi, were known for their strong physical fitness. But it was the first time she had seen such a muscular body, and her legs were shaking just thinking about it. The person Samui saw was naturally Sarutobi Hiruzen. No one knew what her expression would be after she knew that the man she loved was from the 3rd generation. Cultivating immortals is a leap in life level, and Sarutobi Hiruzen is still very attractive to women. Killer Bee scratched his head, not knowing how to face his elder brother. This time it was entirely his fault. He will have to be punished when he returns, and there is a high probability that he will go to Yunli Gorge to rot. Killer Bee and his crew returned to Cloud Shinobi Village, and as expected, AI was furious, and chose to attack Killer Bee immediately upon seeing him. Even when Killer Bee transformed into a tailed beast, he was no match for AI, and AI cut off one of Jayaki's horns. Killer Bee was then ordered not to leave Yunli Gorge again. The news of 8 Tails being captured alive changed the entire ninja world's view of Konoha. After the Sunin gained power, they swept away Konoha's previous cowardice. Konoha is now extremely powerful, and Rock Shinobi has chosen to do the same as Cloud Shinobi and withdraw the ninjas that were harassing the Fire Nation's border. The memories of Uchiha Madara's Mangekyo and the first generations would style sweeping across the ninja world are still fresh in our minds. Now Mangekyo and wood style have appeared in Konoha once again. Although they are certainly not as powerful as Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, they are still enough to deter others. The ninja world has entered peace after a long absence, and all major ninja villages have entered a stage of development. This is also a benefit brought by the war. Although war brings pain and death, it also creates a large number of vacancies and opportunities. History is a cycle of development and war, constant death and rebirth. But all this is not important to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Only continuous practice and strengthening himself can solve all problems. Sarutobi Hiruzen returned to Konoha to restock supplies and happened to meet Cloud Shinobi and his group who were leaving Konoha. The 8 tails and Killer Bee's body caught the attention of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The chakra of the tailed beast was indeed huge and full of energy. However, for Sarutobi Hiruzen had no use for it, and he disdained to become a Jinchuriki. The only person that caught Sarutobi Hiruzen's attention was probably that Samui. This little girl seemed to pay special attention to him. This time, Sarutobi Hiruzen returned to replenish his supplies and prepared to set off for the Star Ninja Village. Defeat the Star Ninjas of the Star Ninja Village, take the stars from them, and see if they can be used as materials to refine weapons. He also found some materials near Hueguo Mountain, but some key minerals were still missing. The ninja world is short of resources, so Sarutobi Hiruzen plans to refine only one magic weapon as his own life-saving magic weapon, and constantly look for materials to optimize and improve it. For example, the Kusanagi sword in Orochimaru's hand is a good material. Sarutobi Hiruzen arrived at the Hokage's office after a long absence. I haven't been here for a few days and even the style of the Hokage office building has changed. It no longer has that stale feeling as before and has become more capable and tidy. They went straight to Orochimaru's office. The people in the village might not recognize the current Sarutobi Hiruzen, but Umbu still recognized the third generation's purpose. He nodded to the third generation leader and did not stop him. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen was the Hokage. After knocking on the door, Sarutobi Hiruzen walked straight into the office. Sunin and Nara Shikaku were both there, and the 4 of them were discussing village affairs. Konoha is now in urgent need of recuperation so that a new generation of ninjas can grow up. This is also the common choice of all ninja villages now, because due to continuous wars, each major ninja village has lost too many ninjas. The training of new ninjas is imminent. There must be successful ninja graduations every year, and there must be a constant supply of fresh blood, so that the development of a ninja village can get on the right track. After all, even without war, the death rate of ninjas is very high. Ninjas are supposed to carry out various missions, mainly assassination missions, and they also undertake escort missions. When performing missions, they will inevitably fight with ninjas from other ninja villages. Orochimaru had noticed this problem a long time ago. As one of the few scientists among the Hokage, his desire for research was endless. What several people were discussing this time was how to change the current situation where Konoha Shinobi Village must rely on the Fire Nation to survive. Konoha needs to be self-sufficient and needs more power and voice. Otherwise, ninjas will always be tools, and pain and tragedy will never stop. Orochimaru, do you still have that Kusanagi sword? Sarutobi Hiruzen went straight to the point and asked his beloved disciple for the Kusanagi sword. Without the divine iron ore, we can only make do with some better things. Orochimaru was stunned for a moment. He was indeed collecting Kusanagi swords in secret, but he had never been able to find all of them. He currently only has a Kusanagi sword, which he found in the remains of the Yamata no Orokai in the Ryokai cave. How could Sarutobi Hiruzen know about it? Yes, I only have one, and I haven't found the rest yet. In the Hokage world, there is more than one Kusanagi sword. The one in Orochimaru's hand can be extended and shortened after being injected with chakra, and it is also extremely sharp. Even the Monkey King, who is said to have an indestructible body, can be harmed by the Kusanagi sword. The other Kusanagi sword is in Uchiha Itake's possession, but Itake has not yet awakened Mangekyo, and cannot use it without Susanoo. In mythology, the Kusanagi sword, also known as the Murasaka sword, is the sword in the body of the Yamata no Orokai. Orochimaru can transform into the Yamata no Orokai using secret techniques, so it is normal for him to have the Kusanagi sword. I'm planning on leaving Konoha for a while. You know I have no chakra left. How about giving me the Kusanagi sword for self-defense? Orochimaru is his apprentice, and this Kusanagi sword is not that important to him, so it's okay for him to come over. When I have achieved success in the future, it would be fine to help Orochimaru. After all, there is a master-disciple relationship. However, Orochimaru is not suitable for the yin-yang body refining technique, and he has no other cultivation techniques, so he can only wait. Orochimaru thought about it for a moment and nodded. Sarutobi Hiruzen has changed a lot recently. He really looks younger and younger, and it seems that those muscles are really tough to deal with. However, although Sarutobi Hiruzen is still the Hokage, Konoha's affairs are now decided by the Sunin, so Sarutobi Hiruzen's departure will not have much impact. The elders and the root have been uprooted, and Konoha can only be compared to the first generation period. Tsunade still has a lot of opinions about Sarutobi Hiruzen, thinking that Sarutobi Hiruzen did all this too late. If they had done this when Namikaze Minato was still alive, nothing would have turned out like this. Old man, what do you want to do? After saying that, he stood up, walked up to Sarutobi Hiruzen, and stared at Sarutobi Hiruzen. I originally wanted to question this old man to see what he was going to do, but when she came to Sarutobi Hiruzen, she was hit by the masculine scent and her face turned red for no apparent reason. I'm going to go out and take a look. I've lived in Konoha for most of my life. If I don't go out and take a look, I'll be too old to walk. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Tsunade. His disciple was a famous busty warrior and he saw that she lived up to her reputation. He really did owe a lot to the Senju clan. Since he was using his predecessor's body, he naturally had to take on the cause and effect of his predecessor. Teacher, you have too much free time now. You look younger than me. Jiraiya looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and couldn't help but complain. He learned the habit of snooping around in the women's bathhouse from Sarutobi Hiruzen. He was a wretched old man, how come he is so handsome now? Jiraiya couldn't accept it and spoke sourly. It just looks young. Sarutobi Hiruzen has his own secrets, which he cannot tell his 3 disciples for the time being. At least he should tell them after he reaches Dan formation. After all, the Sage of 6 Paths is not dead, and is observing the ninja world in the form of a conscious entity. It is said that this is to prevent Satsuki Kagaya from being resurrected, but who knows what secrets this may have? Orochimaru's action broke the deadlock. He opened his mouth wide and pulled the Kusanagi sword out of his throat. Give it to me. The Kusanagi sword is indeed sharp, it would be even better if there wasn't so much unknown mucus on it. Even though Tsunade and Jiraiya have been teammates with Orochimaru for so many years, they still find it hard to accept Orochimaru's actions. How disgusting. Orochimaru, can't you change for the better? Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't care and just took it and swung it. It is indeed a good sword. Orochimaru's Kusanagi sword is shaped like a Hyuxia long sword and is very easy to use. Sarutobi Hiruzen's natal magic weapon was originally intended to be a flying sword. Then I'll take it. I'll be leaving Konoha in a few days, so just don't destroy Konoha. Watching Sarutobi Hiruzen leaving, Tsunade was stunned for a long time. My teacher has changed so much that he is no longer the same person as before. Tsunade, our teacher is in great shape now, but you are master and apprentice. If you are really lonely, please consider me. I can still help you get rid of the loneliness with some difficulty. Jiraiya's nature is hard to change. Just as he was drooling, Tsunade's super powerful punch arrived and knocked Jiraiya out of the window. He really deserves a beating. Send him to the medical department. I'm going to heal him and then punch him again. After saying that, Tsunade turned around and walked away, but no one noticed that her face was still slightly red. Tsunade's words made Orochimaru break out in a cold sweat. In front of Tsunade, it was impossible to die. Jiraiya really asked for it. At Konoha Hospital, Shisui brought Itachi to visit his teacher. Jiraiya was lying on the hospital bed, wrapped in bandages. Tsunade didn't hold back with this punch. I heard that Jiraiya crashed into a house, broke through 3 walls, and then fell into a trash can in the alley behind the house. When Umbu found him, many of his bones were broken. Lying on the hospital bed, Jiraiya felt pain all over his body every time he took a breath. This was the pain of breathing. The kind-hearted Shisui looked at the teacher lying on the hospital bed with some concern. Was the injury too serious? It seems that it is not easy for my master and his mistress to get together. Shisui sighed and shook his head, the bond and love of the older generation. Itachi next to him looked a little strange, obviously not knowing why Shisui was sighing. Itachi only has his brother and family in his heart, and there is no room for any woman. Of course, this is only temporary. Itachi is still young now. If he doesn't have to worry about his family, will he accept Uchiha Izumi's feelings when he reaches puberty? Itachi is already studying at the ninja school, but because he is too talented, he is obviously out of tune with his classmates. Apart from Uchiha Izumi, he has no other friends in the ninja school. In a sense, Itachi is also arrogant and lonely. Shisui, ahem, don't worry about me, I'm fine. Jiraiya, lying on the hospital bed, endured the pain and comforted his apprentice. Sensei, you will definitely be fine as long as Lady Tsunade is here. As an authority on medical ninjutsu in the ninja world, Tsunade's medical ninjutsu is absolutely worthy of praise. Jiraiya's injuries are nothing to Tsunade. Shisui's expression turned serious and he continued, Teacher, if you want to pursue Tsunade-sama, this won't work. What? I'm not going after that violent B*** D of hers. Jiraiya's tone was a little panicked, and he took a deep breath after he finished speaking, and his bones ached. Master, being stubborn will only make the relationship between you two grow further apart. I didn't expect Shisui to be such an expert. Jiraiya didn't know what to say. What Shisui said seems to make some sense. Don't talk nonsense, kid. Just at this moment, Tsunade pushed the door open and walked in, looking at Shisui with a bad tone. Shisui suddenly broke out in a cold sweat and scratched his head embarrassedly. There's no chance for me to be with your master. He's just a filthy man who likes to peek into the women's bathhouse. After Tsunade finished speaking, she looked at Jiraiya, who was lying on the bed. Jiraiya, when you recover from your injuries, try my fist again. After saying that, he turned around and left. It seemed that Tsunade was really angry this time, leaving Jiraiya lying on the hospital bed with a bitter look on his face. It's because Tsunade is so violent that he doesn't dare to pursue her. Teacher, take good care of your injuries. You can take me to practice when you are well again. Shisui looked at Jiraiya, and it seemed that his master and Lord Tsunade were really not a good match. Judging from Jiraiya's usual behavior, if he stayed with Lord Tsunade, he probably wouldn't survive more than a week, right? Shisui sighed as he recalled that after becoming Jiraiya's apprentice, Jiraiya either peeped into the women's bathhouse to collect materials or went to various brothels. The teacher is capable and talented, but he is also an out-and-out playboy. He is indeed a hero of his generation, but unfortunately he is not that compatible with Tsunade. The two were walking on the streets of Konoha. Uchiha Itachi was holding a three-colored meatball in his hand, and although the meatballs were delicious, he still looked like he was worried. Shisui, I want to apply for early graduation. Itachi hesitated for a moment, then spoke. Isn't school good? Shisui was not too surprised to hear Itachi's words. This good friend of his was very mature, far beyond his peers in both thinking and strength, so it was normal for him to feel bored in the ninja school. However, now that the ninja world is peaceful and the relationship between the family and the village has eased a lot, Shisui still hopes that Itachi can continue to study in the ninja school and enjoy his childhood. There is no point in school anymore. I want to find the true meaning of life. Now that Uchiha Itachi no longer needs to worry about the village and family, he begins to think about a deeper question, which is the true meaning of life. What is the meaning of a ninja's existence? What is the purpose of his life? Maybe life itself doesn't need meaning. After hearing about the meaning of life, Shisui was also a little confused. Everyone pursues different things. How easy is it to find the meaning of life? If you have really made up your mind, you can apply to the school. Orochimaru will come to examine you personally. He may have a different answer to your question. Shisui now still admires Orochimaru very much. After all, after Orochimaru became Hokage, the relationship between the Uchiha and the village eased a lot. Now the Uchiha have been integrated into the village again and no longer have to hide in the clanland. Orochimaru's personal charm became more and more obvious. After he began to manage Konoha, many Umbu ninjas began to have a blind admiration and confidence in Orochimaru. Perhaps this is the charm of the villain. His leadership is much better than Sarutobi Hiruzen, who only talks about the will of fire all day long. Uchiha Itachi nodded and became excited. What kind of answer would Lord Orochimaru give him? Sarutobi Hiruzen, on the other hand, is educating his two sons in the Sarutobi clan's territory. Asuma joined Umbu, and when there are graduates from the ninja school in a while, he will become a team leader. Shinashuk and Hinako chose to take a temporary leave, and the reason was very simple: Hinako was pregnant. However, this time Sarutobi Hiruzen did not name the child in Hinaka's belly, but gave the right to Shinashuk. Originally, the child in Hinaka's belly should have been named Sarutobi Kanoamaru. The meaning of this name is too obvious. I'm going to be away from Konoha for a while. Shinashuk and Hinata will stay in Konoha, understand? In the original work, not long after Kanoamaru was born, Shinashuk and Hinata were killed in a mission. Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally didn't want this to happen. Yes, father. Shinashuk nodded, taking Sarutobi Hiruzen's words seriously. His father had changed a lot recently and the village was indeed moving in a good direction. After instructing his two sons, Sarutobi Hiruzen was ready to set off. First stop, Star Ninja Village. Carrying the Kusanagi sword, Sarutobi Hiruzen left Konoha. The first target is Nanakusa Island and Hongzhou Island, which are rich in medicinal herbs and close to the summoning island. There are a large number of summoning beasts here, which may have a certain connection with the summoning world. The ninjas' food pills are mainly made from the herbs produced here. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen thought that there might be some herbs here that were unknown to the ninjas. He asked around and found out that the herbs produced on Nanakusa Island were mainly Datura, Vitality Ginseng, Red Salamander, and Giant Creeper. These herbs sound very weak. The spiritual energy in the ninja world is quite rich. An island that produces herbs cannot possibly have only these ingredients. Then, Sarutobi Hiruzen will go to the Bear Country in the southeast, where the Star Ninja Village is located. Next to it is the Craftsman Country, and it is not far from the Whirlpool Country. More importantly, this place is located right behind the Land of Fire, so there is basically no danger. The only possibility of encountering ninjas from the Land of Water is that you may encounter ninjas from the Land of Water. However, the Mizukage Yagura of the Land of Water is controlled by Obito, and Kirigakure is now in the stage of the Blood Mist. The entire Kirigakure was messed up by Obito, and the Backbone forces have all become rebels, and are now busy fighting among themselves. Outside of Konoha village, there are still many residents in the Land of Fire, but the differences between different areas are very obvious. The more famous towns have well-developed facilities, while the countryside retains the appearance of a primitive agricultural civilization. Fortunately, the Fire Nation is rich in resources, and most people live a relatively affluent life without having to worry about problems such as hunger and disease. The further south you go, the less people there are, the fewer villages you encounter, and the more wild animals there are. They encountered many bandits along the way. These bandits were also the most targeted by the ninjas, and they could never kill them all. Occasionally, bandits would collude with rebellious ninjas and wandering ninjas. After all, most countries have small populations and sparsely populated areas. Sarutobi and Hiruzen basically avoided the ones that could be avoided, and for those that could not be avoided, they had no choice but to crush them. After all, with Sarutobi Hiruzen's level of skill, the bandits in the Land of Fire could not be his match. Encountered the strongest rebel ninja, which is at the level of Chunin. Soon they arrived at the border of the Land of Fire, and if they wanted to go to Nanakusa Island they had to take a boat. Fortunately, whether it is the herbs produced on Nanakobara Island or the southern Honjo Island, they all need to go by sea, enter the Fire Kingdom, and then go to other countries. Therefore, there are a large number of merchant ships nearby. After Sarutobi Hiruzen expressed his identity as a Konoha shinobi, several merchant shipowners immediately came to him. At a tavern by the sea, Sarutobi Hiruzen was having dinner. The climate here is hot, but there is an abundance of seafood, and shipping is relatively developed, so the economy is actually better than inland. At the same time, there are official personnel from the Fire Nation supervising this place. After all, the taxes collected from the medicinal materials transaction are a huge sum of money. However, due to the existence of Konoha Shinobi Village, there are more ordinary people here, and even if there are individual ninjas, their strength is very weak. "Sir, are you really a Konoha shinobi?" A girl with a pretty face came up to Sarutobi Hiruzen and mustered up the courage to ask. Sarutobi Hiruzen held a wineglass in his hand and turned to look at the girl, who looked to be about 16 or 17 years old, very young, but she has an extremely gentle appearance, giving people the feeling of a married woman, and her body is also extremely hot. The body shapes of women in this Hokage world seem to vary greatly, either they are set in stone or they have big breasts and a big butt. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't reply, which made the girl anxious. "Ninja-sama, can you accept my commission? My father is seriously ill and urgently needs medicinal herbs from Nanakusa Island, but there are Red State merchant ninjas there, and they will attack those who go to the island to collect herbs." A rather cliched story, it could be true or it could be a conspiracy. If you have the money to issue a commission, why don't you go find Shangnin to buy it? Sarutobi Hiruzen finished the drink in his glass in one gulp and asked, "I don't have much money." The girl lowered her head and explained the reason. For most civilians in the Land of Fire, the Konoha shinobi represent justice. After all, there are great benefits for citizens of the country to issue missions. When ninjas on a mission encounter civilians in need, they will basically lend a hand. So she wanted to try her luck with Sarutobi Hiruzen. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen now looks very decent, with thick eyebrows and big eyes, and looks very energetic. He is definitely a good person at first glance. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced at the girl and it didn't seem like she was lying. "What happened to your father? Keep asking and see if you can get more information." "I don't know either. He suddenly fell ill. The village doctor said that only the 7-star flowers from Nanakusa Island can cure my father." I asked, "And the 7-star flowers are very expensive. I can only go to the island to pick them myself." Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the girl again. Looking closely, she seemed a little disheveled. She had probably been here for a few days, but no one was willing to help her. The girl's story had some holes, but Sarutobi Hiruzen decided to help her out. If someone really wants to plot against him, he won't be able to escape and they will still find him. "You should get ready. I have already found a merchant ship and will set off tomorrow." A merchant ship has made an appointment with Sarutobi Hiruzen and hired Sarutobi Hiruzen as the escort of the merchant ship. Nanakusa Island is controlled by the merchant ninjas and other forces, and these merchant ships also go to Nanakusa Island to trade with the merchant ninjas. The Shangnin did prohibit ordinary people from picking medicinal herbs, but the strength of these Shangnin was worrying, that is, at the level of Genin and Chinin. He was definitely going to explore Nanakusa Island, so it wouldn't hurt to bring the girl with him. "Okay, Ninja-sama." The girl was very excited and felt very fortunate. The ninjas of Konoha were indeed all good people, and her father's illness could finally be cured. Sarutobi Hiruzen threw a small purse into the girl's arms, and she held it in her hands in panic. "I don't want your money. Go buy some food and daily necessities. When we get to the island, you will be responsible for cooking for me." "Okay, Okay, she really didn't have much money left to pay for her father's medical treatment. Go ahead, leave tonight and you should be there tomorrow. I'll be waiting for you in this tavern. The girl bowed deeply, and the whiteness of her chest made Sarutobi Hiruzen dizzy. I don't know if it's the influence of Sarutobi Hiruzen or because my body has become more energetic, but the desire in my heart is stronger than before. Maybe it's because the two souls have merged, the mental strength has become stronger and the desires have become stronger. Even if he is an immortal, he still has 7 emotions and 6 desires, but Sarutobi Hiruzen can control them by changing his mind. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't pay much attention to the girl as she left. There are always many unexpected things in the journey, but only a few can stay with you until the end. The girl took the purse that Sarutobi Hiruzen threw at her and quickly went to buy some food and daily necessities for the island, then hurried back to the tavern. Master Ninja, I'm back. The girl is very energetic, youthful, sexy and charming, giving people a very contrasting feeling. The ocean in this ninja world seems to be no different from the ocean in the previous life, both are equally boundless. This merchant ship is not particularly large, but it is not small either. The ship owner thought the girl was Sarutobi Hiruzen's follower, so he only gave Sarutobi Hiruzen one room. Ninja-sama, my name is Miki-chan, what's yours? In the room, the girl lowered her head and blushed. It was too embarrassing to be alone in a room with the ninja master, Sarutobi Hiruzen. This made the girl stunned for a moment. Why did this name sound so familiar? Maybe the ninja master was very famous. This is the edge of the land of fire, so it's normal that Miki-chan doesn't know Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi-sama, why are you going to Nanakusa Island? Just like you, I want to find some herbs. Sarutobi Hiruzen felt a little uncomfortable. The girl was too energetic. Her vitality was incompatible with him, a pure and simple immortal. Hopefully we can all find the herbs we need. The girl thought of her father and couldn't help but feel worried. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't say anything, but looked at the turbulent ocean. Perhaps because the girl's chest was also turbulent, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't bear to look at it. There was no danger along the way. Sarutobi Hiruzen was originally a little bit excited and wanted to see what the pirates of this hokage world were like. However, he didn't meet any other ninjas along the way. Thank you for the journey, Ninja-sama. Although there was no danger on the way, the ship owner was still very grateful to Sarutobi Hiruzen. I'm going to stay on the island for a while, so you don't have to wait for me when you finish your shopping. You have to be careful. There are many business ninjas on this island. They forbid picking without permission. The boat owner kindly gave some instructions and turned away. This is a pier, and there are many shops along the coast selling medicinal herbs. Sarutobi Hiruzen took Miki Koa on a tour around the place. The medicinal herbs sold in the shop were very ordinary, enough for ordinary people, but of no use to him as a cultivator. The 7-star flowers that Miki Zaioi wanted could not be found in these stores either. Let's go to the middle of the island. Sarutobi Hiruzen turned and walked away, choosing to explore the island. Miki Zaioi quickly caught up with Sarutobi Hiruzen, but she was extremely nervous. This Nanakusa Island was the territory of the business ninjas, who were both businessmen and ninjas. They controlled the herbs on the island and made huge profits, and their actions were also approved by Konoha and the Land of Fire. After all, these merchant ninjas paid taxes honestly and listened to the Fire Nation. A large number of rare herbs were directly offered to the daimyo. The two had been targeted for a long time, but Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't care. Sarutobi-sama, is it really okay for us to enter the island like this? Miki Zaioi was a little worried. Wasn't this too blatant? It's fine. Sarutobi Hiruzen no longer carries Konoha's forward protector, but chooses to hang the forward protector on his arm as an armband, which can save him from a lot of trouble. As the two people gradually went deeper into the forest, the environment became increasingly harsh. The trees here were not as thick as those in the Fire Country. Instead, there were more thorns and bushes. On the other side, in a more luxurious house near the pier. Sir, a ninja from Konoha and a woman have entered the island. Oh, a middle-aged man in elegant clothes uttered a doubtful question. There has been no mission notification for Konoha Shinobi recently? Can you confirm the identity of that ninja? It's impossible to be sure. It's not a ninja we are familiar with, and it's not on the Jonin list. The middle-aged man tapped the table lightly, somewhat puzzled. As long as they don't mess around, just pretend you didn't see anything. If they enter the core area, take them down. Regardless of whether or not they are real Konoha Shinobi, conflict should definitely be avoided if possible. Master Hiruzen, should we take a break? Miki Koa was a little out of breath. She was just an ordinary person and could not keep up with the speed of Sarutobi Hiruzen. She had quietly changed his address from Sarutobi to Hiruzen, trying to bring the two closer together. Well, take a break. Go pick up some firewood. Although Miki AI is pleasing to the eyes, she is indeed a bit of a burden to Sarutobi Hiruzen. After Xiao AI picked up the firewood, Sarutobi Hiruzen directly used fire style to light the firewood. Although fire style will not burn people, it is still very convenient for daily use. If these ninjutsu were used in production, they would be enough to revolutionize the world's industry and science twice. Mikikoa started to prepare food, while Sarutobi Hiruzen took out a cigarette and started smoking. The habits left over from his predecessor were hard to change. With Sarutobi Hiruzen's current physical condition, even if he smoked 10 cigarettes at once, it would not cause any harm to his body. "Will you wait for me here after dinner?" Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Mikikoa's expression darkened. She also felt that to Sarutobi Hiruzen, she was almost a burden. "You have helped me a lot. I can go find the 7-star flower by myself." The girl's voice trembled slightly and Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed. He really couldn't be this evil. The meal ended in silence. Miki Zaioi kept comforting herself in her heart that Lord Hiruzen had helped her enough and she should not hold him back any longer. Her father's illness was originally her business, and it was inappropriate to trouble Sarutobi Hiruzen. "My lord, It's okay, I can take yours." Cultivation is all about following one's heart, and it is not difficult for Sarutobi Hiruzen to explore the island with Miki Zaioi. More importantly, this girl had the qualifications to cultivate immortality, and her qualifications were not bad, at least the best that Sarutobi Hiruzen had ever seen along the way. Miki Zaioi's face instantly turned red, but she immediately agreed. Okay. With Miki Zaioi on their backs, the two of them moved much faster. At the same time, Sarutobi Hiruzen also felt that perhaps because Mikikoa's clothes were loose, her size was actually not smaller than Tsunede's. She was even more upright. Mikikoa was a little dazed as she felt Sarutobi Hiruzen's strong body. The ninja's speed was far beyond that of ordinary people. It took less than 10 minutes for them to reach the core area of the island. What's wrong? When Miki-chan was thinking about why Lord Hiruzen's muscles were so hard, she suddenly felt Sarutobi Hiruzen stopped. Looking up, he saw 3 ninjas appearing in front of him. There was a Hyuxia character Shang on the forehead protectors they wore, and an abacus on their backs. They were the Hongzhou Shangnin who controlled this island. "Sir of Konoha, the core area of Nanakusa Island is ahead. Please go back." Shang Ren did not take action. If he wanted to survive in the land of fire, he must avoid fighting with people from Konoha. "Is this island yours?" Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little puzzled. Shouldn't the positions of these creatures, which were created by nature and raised by the earth, be reserved for those who are capable? "This island is ours." A business nin pulled out an abacus from his back and pointed it at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Mikikoa grabbed the corner of Sarutobi Hiruzen's clothes, a little scared. In the past, many villagers from the surrounding areas would go to the island to collect herbs. After these merchant ninjas arrived, they killed many civilians and occupied Nanako Island and Hongzhou Island. This is the absolute gap between ninjas and civilians. In the eyes of Sarutobi Hiruzen, these business ninjas are not even worthy of being on the stage. However, to civilians, these ninjas whose strength is only that of genin and shinin are already a nightmare. "It's mine now." Sarutobi Hiruzen just flashed in front of the 3 ninjas and knocked them all away with one punch. Even the abacus behind him was broken by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Of course, Sarutobi Hiruzen still held back his strength, otherwise they would have been killed on the spot with one punch. Adult. Before Mikikoa could react, the 3 business ninjas were knocked down by Sarutobi Hiruzen. She only had time to let out a scream. "Come on, let's continue." Sarutobi Hiruzen motioned Mikikoa to come over. Mikikoa was stunned for a moment before she reacted. She trotted to Sarutobi Hiruzen and jumped onto his back. Sarutobi Hiruzen dodged again and left with Mikikoa. Too strong, the 3 Shangnin had no time to react and lost their combat effectiveness. This is definitely a jonin. After lying on the ground for a while, the 3 of them stood up shakily. They no longer had the intention to trouble Sarutobi Hiruzen and quickly ran to report. Adult Hiruzen. Mikikoa was lying on Sarutobi Hiruzen's back, feeling a little confused. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly appeared like a hero, and he was so powerful that she couldn't help but be moved. "What's wrong?" "Fine." However, the girl's thoughts will not be revealed easily. When arriving at the core area of Nanakusa Island, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not find any spiritual medicine. The spiritual energy was obviously rich and the environment was suitable, so why were there no spiritual medicine? However, Miki Zaioi quickly found the 7-star flower she wanted by the side of a stream. Sarutobi Hiruzen took it in his hand and observed it, but he didn't see anything special about it. At least in his opinion, this was not some strange medicinal herb. "Sir, have you found the herbs you want?" After finding the necessary herbs, Mikikoa couldn't help but worry about her father at home, but she still wanted to accompany Sarutobi Hiruzen to find the herbs he needed. Shaking his head, Sarutobi Hiruzen was very puzzled. "Is the ninja world not suitable for the growth of spiritual medicine? Let's go, there should be no more." Sarutobi Hiruzen carried Mikikoa on his back and quickly returned to the dock. Along the way, no Shang Ren came to cause trouble, no other problems occurred, and there was not a single spiritual medicine. He left Nanakusa Island on a merchant ship and returned to the Land of Fire. Master Hiruzen, I need to go home first. Can you come with me? Seeing the girl's expectant eyes, Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed. Let's go. For your sake, these are Sarutobi Hiruzen's true feelings. After receiving a positive answer, Mikikoa was very excited and took Sarutobi Hiruzen to her village. But when she returned to the village, her father had passed away. Didn't you say that the disease can be cured with just the 7-star flower? Miki Zaioi cried and questioned the doctor. The doctor shook his head, but his eyes were fixed on Sarutobi Hiruzen not far away. It's too late. I didn't expect the disease to progress so quickly. The girl sat on the ground in despair, her eyes dull. You and those business ninjas have discussed this a long time ago, right? Sarutobi Hiruzen came closer and looked down at the old man who claimed to be a doctor. Don't talk nonsense. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen say this, he became visibly flustered. Mikikoa didn't understand what Sarutobi Hiruzen meant and looked at him in confusion. They tricked you into going to the Shang-Ren and took you for themselves or sold you as a slave. Want me to help you kill them? In this absurd ninja world, human trafficking exists. It is normal for the girl to be targeted because of her good looks and figure. Mikikoa didn't say anything, but Sarutobi Hiruzen already understood what she meant. He drew out the Kusanagi sword and killed them all. They fought their way from the village to Hongzhou Island. In this Shangnin's base camp, they found some poorly preserved spiritual medicines. They also saw that the spiritual medicines from Nanakasa Island had been picked up by these guys. Watching Sarutobi Hiruzen kill many people with an expressionless face, Miki Zaioi felt numb and confused. What should she do now that her father is dead? Master Hiruzen, will you allow me to follow you for the rest of my life? It seems that the only person she can rely on is Sarutobi Hiruzen. Looking at the girl, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. He knew that the girl had the aptitude to cultivate immortality, and the aptitude was quite good, so he did not think about the deeper meaning of the girl's words. I still have a mission. You can go to Konoha with the Fire Country caravan. Just tell them my name when you get there. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words rekindled the girl's hope, but Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to have misunderstood the girl's meaning. He just wanted to give the girl a place to live, but the girl was greedy for his body. Looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen's leaving back, Mikikoa clenched her fists. Master Hiruzen, I will follow you forever. A few days later, Sarutobi Hiruzen arrived in the Bear Country. Like Konoha, it had extremely dense jungles, but not as exaggerated as those in the Fire Country. The Star Ninja Village is located in a canyon surrounded by poisonous gas. It is surrounded by miasma all year round and ordinary people cannot reach it at all. On the other side, Miki Zaioi finally followed the caravan to Konoha. The prosperity of Konoha dazzled her, but she still kept in mind Sarutobi Hiruzen's instructions. When he came to Konoha, he had to announce his name. The post of gatekeeper of Konoha was taken over by the restless Uchiha clan, and now the ones responsible for guarding the gate are Uchiha Tetsuka and Uchiha Inahime. Stop! What are you doing in Konoha? Mikikoa, who was a little evasive in her eyes, naturally could not escape Uchiha's eyes. Master Sarutobi Hiruzen sent me here. Miki Ai plucked up the courage and said the name of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The two Uchiha looked at each other in surprise. Sarutobi Hiruzen, the third-generation member, hasn't appeared in the village recently, and they don't know whether it's true or not. Take her to the hokage's office. Uchiha Inahire nodded. Since it was the third-generation master who asked her to come, she would definitely bring it to Lord Orikimura to see. Did the teacher ask you to come? Orikimura was talking to Tsunade about the medical department and was a little surprised to hear what Uchiha Inahire said. What is the relationship between this girl and my teacher? Yes. Master Hiruzen asked me to come to Konoha. What did he ask you to do? Tsunade also asked. Miki Zaioi plucked up her courage and spoke out loud. I will follow Lord Sarutobi Hiruzen for the rest of my life. Mikikoa's eyes were full of love. Orikimura Tsunade? Tsunade couldn't believe it. Although the girl in front of her had a good figure, she looked only about 16 or 17 years old. Sarutobi Hiruzen is good enough to be her grandfather. Orikimura, I expected this long ago. This old monkey is still ruthless. He has already started to deceive ignorant girls. Orikimura also has pupil earthquake. He had been thinking about why his teacher gave up the rights to the village and chose to leave Konoha temporarily. Now the truth is finally revealed. It turned out that his teacher was no longer satisfied with using the crystal ball to spy on the women's bathhouse, and started to go out and do some actual practice. This actually made Orikimura feel relieved. This is a good thing. He used to be a scourge to the entire village, but now he is only harming a few women, and they are not women from Konoha, but were lured back from outside the village. If Orikimura had to choose between the former Sarutobi Hiruzen and the current Sarutobi Hiruzen, Orikimura would definitely choose the current Sarutobi Hiruzen. But Tsunade didn't think so. Sarutobi Hiruzen was such a jerk. It wasn't enough that he brought disaster to the village, now he actually went out to deceive an ignorant girl. Master Hiruzen did not lie to me, I volunteered. Miki Koa is not stupid, she knows that some things have to be fought for by herself, so after meeting Orochimaru and Tsunade, she said that she wanted to become Sarutobi Hiruzen's wife. Sometimes, misunderstandings deepen step by step and become reality, don't they? Tsunade put her hands on her forehead and thought about how Sarutobi Hiruzen looked now. That muscular body was really intimidating. But in Tsunade's heart, Sarutobi Hiruzen is still the wretched old man he used to be, and he has done a lot of bad things with all his heart. We must not let this ignorant girl be deceived. Do you know how old Sarutobi Hiruzen is? Tsunade took a deep breath and asked Miki-chan the crucial question. Miki Zayo, I really didn't know Sarutobi Hiruzen's age. Sarutobi Hiruzen is Konoha's third hokage. He's already in his 50s, almost 60. Old enough to be your grandfather. Tsunade was heartbroken. Sarutobi Hiruzen's youngest son, Sarutobi Asuma, was about the same age as the girl in front of him. And everyone knows that Sarutobi Shinashuk and Sarutobi Hinata have a child, and they went to the Sarutobi clan to celebrate a few days ago. Today Sarutobi Hiruzen sent back a young girl to be his wife? This is outrageous. Miki Zayo, I always felt that the name Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little familiar. Now she remembered that this was the name of Konoha Hokage. Seeing Miki-chan's surprised look, Tsunade nodded with satisfaction. It seems that the girl in front of me has realized the problem. Hiruzen-sama is actually the Hokage. I was wondering how he could be so strong. Miki Koa's eyes are full of stars, and she doesn't seem to care about Sarutobi Hiruzen's age at all. Tsunade took a deep breath and hardened her fist. When Sarutobi Hiruzen comes back, I will make sure to give him a taste of the powerful fist. This old pervert should be made to stay in the hospital for half a month like Jiraiya. Jiraiya became what he is today definitely because of the influence of Sarutobi Hiruzen. She must like gambling because of her teacher. And the reason Orochimaru became the pervert he is today is because of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Okay, Tsunade, let's not get involved in the teacher's business. After saying that, Orochimaru looked at Miki Koa. I'll have someone take you to the teacher's house. The Sarutobi clan still has many houses and properties in Konoha. Go find Sarutobi Shinashuk and ask him to arrange a job for you. Tsunade took a deep breath and held back from saying anything. After all, Orochimaru was the fifth Hokage now. Umbu took Miki-chan away, and Tsunade finally couldn't help it. Orochimaru, the old man has gone too far. We can't let him run amok out there like this. Orochimaru shook his head. His thoughts were different from Tsunade's, and he even felt quite relieved. Isn't this good? Do we want him to return to Konoha and affect our work? He has already given up all the power in his hands, so let him be. Orochimaru's mentality now is similar to that of Li Shimon, who successfully usurped the throne. As long as Li Yuan does not interfere with his being emperor, he can do whatever he wants and have as many children as he wants. Of course, a new emperor appoints new ministers, and even if Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to influence the village's policies as he did before, it is impossible. He had taken over both the Root and the Council of Elders, and now the major ninja clans in Konoha obviously recognized Orochimaru more. After hearing what Orochimaru said, Tsunade had a very complicated expression. She was also a person who looked at the overall situation. She knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen's behavior was actually harmless and Miki Koa was just an ordinary girl. The only advantage may be that she has a great figure, which Tsunade didn't have when she was young. Wait till he comes back. Orochimaru shook his head and looked at the document in his hand. Nara Shikaka next to him didn't say a word the whole time, but in his heart he was admiring Sarutobi Hiruzen. He is a henpecked husband, but he didn't expect that the third-generation member could actually trick such a beautiful girl. He is worthy of being the Hokage. Uchiha Itaki of the Uchiha clan has applied for early graduation. Orochimaru looked at the application with interest. I heard that this Uchiha Itaki is a genius who is no less talented than Uchiha Shisui. During this time, he made considerable progress in his research on the Sharingan, and Obito's Mangekyo was studied extensively by him. However, except for people of the Uchiha clan, transplanting the Sharingan will have great side effects. Currently, there is only one exception, that is Shin, a person who can transplant any organ without any rejection reaction. Danzo's arm is the arm that was transplanted with Shin. However, although Shin will not have an immune rejection reaction, he is still completely inferior to the Uchiha clan after the Sharingan is transplanted. There seems to be some kind of energy and strange gene fragments hidden in the genes of the Uchiha clan, which can release huge energy when emotions fluctuate. The Uchiha clan of love. If you want to get more information, it would be best to observe the Uchiha clan. Maybe this Uchiha Itaki is a good choice. Shikaku, approve his application and I will personally examine him. Okay. Nara Shikaku's opinion of the Uchiha clan has also changed a lot recently. Now Uchiha's relationship with the village is much better and he has begun to integrate into the village. Nara Shikaka thinks that this might be the right choice. The second Hokage fears the power of the Uchiha, but what if the Uchiha clan has a deep bond with the people in the village? So when the village encounters an enemy in the future, will the Uchiha clan become the village's strongest force? It seems that the second generation was really wrong. Even Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen, whom he trained, were wrong. The Sarutobi clan's land is ahead, so I'll go back. The Umbun ninja nodded politely to Miki Zaioi and immediately left. Sarutobi Asuma just came back and saw a beautiful woman about his age standing at the door of his house, and he immediately perked up. Could he be here to see me? Is he an admirer of the 12 guardian ninjas? When you get closer, Asuma is even more stunning. The girl in front of me has long, smooth black hair, snow-white skin, and a hot body. She can only be described as perfect. At this time, Asuma has not yet fully recognized himself. The so-called 12 guardian ninjas are just a bunch of scumbags. Asuma's own abilities are also questionable. In the future he will be a jonin at most. Although they are the backbone of all ninja villages, they are not the decisive force. What really determines victory or defeat are the strong ones above cage level. The first generation and Uchiha Madara can directly sweep the ninja world. What's the use of having more jonin? And the fact that Asuma can now make a name for himself in the outside world with his strength as a Chunin, isn't it all thanks to Sarutobi Hiruzen? Hello, what can I do for you? Asuma tried his best to look his most handsome and asked about Miki-chan. Hello, is this the Sarutobi family's residence? Miki Zaioi lowered her head and bowed slightly, then asked. Yes, these are all residences of the Sarutobi clan. Asuma was very proud. The Sarutobi clan's mansion was indeed not small, and there were some industries around it. Although it was not as large as the Uchiha clan and the Hyuga clan, after being managed by Sarutobi Hiruzen, it was no longer considered a small clan in Konoha. Miki Ai's eyes lit up. She didn't expect that Lord Hiruzen was not only handsome, strong, and powerful, but also so rich. As for Sarutobi Hiruzen's age, she completely ignored it. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't look old at all now, which is very lethal to a young girl like her. Our Sarutobi clan has been passed down since the Sengoku era. My father is the head of the Sarutobi clan, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Asuma was very proud. Judging from the girl's dress, he thought she must be from a remote rural area. With his status and position, isn't he attractive enough? Hearing what Sarutobi Asuma said, Miki Koa immediately looked at him. The boy in front of him was about his own age, but he had no idea that he was actually Sarutobi Hiruzen's son. I heard that Master Hiruzen's wife has passed away, so let her take care of the family from now on. What's your name? My name is Sarutobi Asuma. Once one of the 12 guardian ninjas, now the Chunin of Konoha village. Sarutobi Asuma's heart was beating wildly. Could it be that his love was about to come? Miki Ai extended her hand to Asuma. My name is Miki-chan, and I will follow Master Hiruzen for the rest of my life. After all, Lord Hiruzen had promised her that she would follow him for the rest of her life. Asuma's mouth dropped open, completely stunned. What? That old guy? Asuma's brain is broken. Asuma, what are you doing? Hinata just came back from buying groceries and saw Asuma and a beautiful girl standing at her door. Sister-in-law, she said she is a follower of father. Sarutobi Hijikata? Rina-I's pupils also trembled and her brain short-circuit. She could understand these words, but couldn't understand them when they were put together. Lord Hiruzen is my savior. I will follow him for the rest of my life. After all, Hinata is already pregnant and is a mother-to-be, so she is much more stable than Asuma. I reacted quickly and decided to let the person into the house first. Let's go home first. After that he took Miki and Zaioi into the house. Asuma was still standing there doubting about his life. His whole demeanor changed. After Hinako came into the house, she asked in detail about Mikiko's specific situation. After understanding what had happened recently, she nodded. This must be a misunderstanding. The girl in front of him was saved by Sarutobi Hiruzen and he fell in love with her. Her father-in-law obviously didn't think much about it. She also found that Sarutobi Hiruzen was acting strangely recently. His behavior had changed, like that of a practicing monk. Hinata was more touched by the recent changes in Sarutobi Hiruzen than Asuma and Shinashuk. After all, to both of them, no matter how much Sarutobi Hiruzen changes, he is still their father. But for Hinata, Sarutobi Hiruzen had changed too much. She could sense that Sarutobi Hiruzen was different. Maybe the existence of Miki Zaioi is not a bad thing. Moreover, Sarutobi Hiruzen now looks to be around 40 years old, and people would believe he is only 30 years old. I heard that Sarutobi Hiruzen always used the crystal ball to do bad things, so it's better to let this girl stay. Please stay here first. We can discuss the rest after you come back. Rina-Ize has started using honorifics. Miki Koa was very happy to get Hinaki's approval. Asuma behind him had a complicated expression. He didn't expect that his father could still be so charming at such an old age. How come he doesn't encounter this kind of hero saving the beauty scene? No, he also has to go on a mission. Asuma was stimulated and turned to take the task. On the other side, Jiraiya learned about this from Tsunade. What? Jiraiya's reaction was similar to Asuma's, both were in complete disbelief. How could an old man like Sarutobi Hiruzen deceive a beautiful girl in the village? Is this fair? However, this was the scene where Uchiha Itachi applied for an early assessment. Many of Konoha's clans and high-ranking officials were present, and the assessment was being presided over by Orochimaru himself. After all, Uchiha Itachi is the eldest son of the Uchiha clan leader and a talented ninja. Under the premise that Uchiha Fugaku has Mangekyo, Uchiha Itachi is likely to be the next generation of the Uchiha clan leader. All the major families wanted to see the extent of Uchiha Itachi's genius. The content of the assessment is not complicated. Uchiha Itachi only needs to demonstrate his basic skills such as ninjutsu and shuriken. Although the requirements for genin are not high, if you want to graduate early, you must demonstrate abilities far beyond ordinary genin. Uchiha Itachi's expressionless face served as a good demonstration. He was actually a little nervous being stared at by so many people. However, Uchiha Itachi's great fireball technique and shuriken throwing technique are both very impressive, far beyond the average genin, so it would really be a waste of time to keep him in the ninja school. After passing the test, Uchiha Itachi found Orochimaru and asked him the question that he had kept in his heart for a long time. Master Orochimaru, what is the meaning of life? Orochimaru's eyes lit up. If you ask this question, I won't be sleepy anymore. Of course it is eternal life. Uchiha Itachi looked at Orochimaru in front of him with a very hot look in his eyes. Itachi was an absolute genius. When he was 4 years old, he was taken to the battlefield by Uchiha Fugaku and realized the cruelty of war. To be honest, Uchiha Fugaku must have some problem with his brain, bringing such a young child to the battlefield. Even if this is the world of ninja, Uchiha Itachi was too young at that time. Uchiha Itachi is a genius, and seeing the cruelty of war at such a young age, it is easy for him to have psychological problems. It can be said that the extermination of the Uchiha clan in the original work had a lot to do with Uchiha Fugaku taking Uchiha Itachi to the battlefield. Uchiha Itachi, the most filial son in the ninja world, nicknamed Uchiha Weasel, was trained by Uchiha Fugaku. Uchiha Itachi's thoughts are the same as Shisui's. He is not bound by the concepts of family and village. He is extremely disgusted with war, and at the same time has an extreme spirit of self-sacrifice. Not only is he self-sacrificing, he also likes to let others sacrifice with him. However, the current Uchiha clan has undergone tremendous changes, and the so-called radical faction no longer exists. Even Uchiha Setsuna, who had planned rebellions many times before, has now joined Umbu. They no longer mentioned rebellion and had even moved from their clan territory to the central area of Konoha. The Uchiha clan and Jiraiya captured 8 Tails alive, and Cloud Shinobi village paid compensation, apologized, and took the initiative to end the war. It can be said that the whole village was proud. Therefore, both civilians and ninjas in the village became more enthusiastic about Uchiha. After this period of contact, everyone has discovered that the Uchiha clan is not that scary, they are just a bunch of tsundere, and it seems to be pretty good to go on missions with Uchiha and be teammates. The Uchiha clan is very powerful and they don't like to hide their strength. Whenever they fight, they will go all out. Even if they encounter a stronger enemy, as long as the bond is deep enough, the Uchiha clan will be able to explode. Who doesn't like such teammates? The changes in the village and the family gave Uchiha Itachi hope for peace. Eternal peace seems impossible to achieve, but wouldn't it be nice to do our best to protect the current peace? However, Uchiha Itachi had more doubts in his heart. What is the meaning of life? Itachi, what do you think the meaning of life is? Orochimaru looked at the child in front of him and he could feel that Uchiha Itachi had infinite potential. Uchiha Itachi thought about it carefully and gave his answer. For me, the meaning of life may be protection, but all those things I cherish will be gone. What is the meaning of my protection? Uchiha Itachi's words made Orochimaru smile involuntarily. These problems once troubled him, but now he has only one goal: strength and immortality. Itachi, only when you are strong enough can you protect what you want to protect, just like the first generation, who can change the entire ninja world into what you want. Orochimaru's words made Uchiha Itachi bow his head in deep thought. Of course he knew about the deeds of the first generation. Konoha was established for the first generation, Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara ended the Sengoku era, and the ninja village system was also imitated by ninjas from other countries. But, can you really protect what you want if you have the strength? Look at the Senju clan now, only Tsunade is left, and Konoha has lost its former glory. Of course, in addition to strength, there is another very important thing, that is lifespan. Although the first generation is powerful, his strength was gained at the cost of his life. Orochimaru has done extensive research on the first generation target cells. Both the Senju and Uzumaki clans have huge chakras and extremely strong recovery abilities. But the number of times a living cell can divide is limited, and the price of a huge chakra and high-speed recovery is a shortened lifespan. I believe that the meaning of life is to pursue eternal life. Uchiha Itachi looked at Orochimaru, his eyes wide. He was shocked by what Orochimaru said. Assuming that he could really achieve immortality and possess powerful strength, then many of the problems he was worried about could be solved. The greatest distress in life is that it is too short. Uchiha Itachi, will you be my apprentice? I will ask the third generation master to accept you as his apprentice. After all, the current hokage is still Sarutobi Hiruzen. Orochimaru looked at Uchiha Itachi and extended an invitation. Uchiha Itachi was stunned for a moment, but without hesitation, he nodded and agreed. Lord Orochimaru, I do. At this time, in Uchiha Itachi's eyes, Orochimaru's figure had become very lofty, and he seemed to have become a little fanboy of Orochimaru. Orochimaru was satisfied to hear that Uchiha Itachi agreed. As Jiraiya's disciple, Uchiha Shisui was the bridge of communication between the Uchiha clan and the village, and Sarutobi Hiruzen Uchiha Itachi became his junior, but it was he who really admired Uchiha Itachi. However, in order to accept Uchiha Itachi, Sarutobi Hiruzen would have to accept another disciple. He already has Anko as his apprentice, and if he were to take in a civilian apprentice, he would be able to treat them equally. Of course, there is no need to rush, as there is plenty of time. The news that Sarutobi Hiruzen accepted Uchiha Itachi as his disciple spread throughout Konoha. The Uchiha clan was the most excited. If Jiraiya accepting Uchiha Shisui as his disciple just gave them hope, then Sarutobi Hiruzen accepting Uchiha Itachi as his disciple was a surprise. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen is the hokage. Although Jiraiya has trained a hokage disciple, he does not have an official position in Konoha. Uchiha Fugaku was very happy. He knew that his choice was right. Although Mangekyou was exposed, he gained the trust of the village. As the head of the Uchiha clan, he is actually not that competent. He is torn between his clan and the village and is of no help to the clan. Itachi, you must listen to Sarutobi Hiruzen's teachings and strive to become the next hokage. After using the summoning beast to contact Sarutobi Hiruzen did not refuse and accepted Uchiha Itachi as his apprentice. Hokage may also be the heart knot of the Uchiha clan. No one is more eager to become hokage than the Uchiha. Of course, Uchiha does not crave the power that hokage brings, but rather the feeling of being worshipped and loved by everyone in the village after becoming hokage. Uchiha Itachi does not desire the position of hokage, he just wants to protect everything he wants to protect. For example, Uchiha Suzuki, who was sleeping, was a being that he was willing to give everything for. My younger brother is so cute. And Mickey AI also moved into Sarutobi Hiruzen's room. Shinnosuke was also very surprised when he heard the news. He never expected that Sarutobi Hiruzen would play such a trick. To be honest, deep down I am a little envious. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who has already arrived in the Bear Country, doesn't know that Miki Koa has already moved into his room as his wife. Now he is thinking about how to enter the Star Ninja Village. The canyon where the Star Ninja Village is located is surrounded by miasma. The Golden Light Mantra is not omnipotent and has no effect on miasma. However, there are still many ways. For example, if the speed is fast enough, there is no need to worry about the miasma entering the body and causing too much impact. And there must be a channel around here for the Star Ninja Village to communicate with the outside world. Soon, Sarutobi Hiruzen found a man-made tunnel beneath a canyon surrounded by miasma. The tunnel was very long, but Sarutobi Hiruzen was moving very fast. However, when he reached the end, he found that the other end of the tunnel was blocked by rubble. The supernatural powers of the ninja world are not some kind of secret technique. In fact, it is simply the gathering of chakra in a certain part of the body to cause powerful destructive power. This kind of chakra control is actually not difficult. What is difficult is the physical strength to match it. Tsunade has Senju blood and can easily use the powerful punch and the painful kick. The chakra bursts of the first generation and second generation can instantly shatter the surrounding walls. But for Sarutobi Hiruzen, a physical cultivator, there is no need to worry about these. He gathered his spiritual power into his fists and smashed all the stones piled at the entrance of the cave into pieces. With a loud bang, light shone in. The canyon where the Star Ninja Village is located has a very nice environment and feels like a paradise. The leader of the Star Ninja Village calls himself Star Shadow, and the lineage has now been passed down to the third generation. The third generation Star Shadow is very old, and is said to be almost 100 years old. This ninja village feels like a real village. The scale of the 5 major ninja villages is far beyond that of ordinary cities of this era. Even the capital city where the daimyo lives is not as large as the ninja villages. After all, ninjas still have strong spending power, and living in a ninja village is also safer. Over time, more and more people choose to live in a ninja village. However, the scale of the Star Ninja Village is not even as large as that of an ordinary village, and there are only a few cats, big and small, combined. There are only a dozen or so ninjas, so they are nothing to worry about. Sarutobi Hiruzen has already entered the Star Ninja Village, but has not been discovered yet, which means that there is no barrier or detection ninjutsu here. Basically all the major ninja villages have barriers and detection ninjutsu. At the very least, there are patrols to prevent ninjas from other ninja villages from sneaking into the ninja village. Just like the Akatsuki organization in the future will use the Rain Tiger technique to monitor the entire Rain Shinobi village. Of course, there is really no need for the star ninjas to do surveillance, as outsiders have no idea that there is a ninja village here. Sarutobi Hiruzen walked towards the central area of the canyon, and the star ninja village was not far ahead. Stop! A woman with slightly reddish hair appeared in front and stopped Sarutobi Hiruzen. She is Xiao-Ri, a genius of the Star Ninja Village, and has a deep understanding of the Star Ninja Village's secret technique, the peacock magic. Looking at the man in front of him, Xiao-Ri wondered, is he a lost ninja? Or a Konoha shinobi? The area ahead is the Star Ninja Village. If you have nothing else to do, please go back. The Star Ninja Village has no value. Even the Bear Country is a small marginal country. The Star Ninja Village only takes on tasks within the Bear Country and is self-sufficient most of the time. For the ninjas of the small ninja village, Konoha Shinobi represents the strong Yamato who cannot be provoked. If a Konoha Shinobi is killed, it may attract the pursuit of Umbu, and the pursuit of ninja will also investigate it. If something happens to a Konoha ninja in the Star Ninja Village, it is likely to bring about a catastrophic disaster. Sarutobi Hiruzen found the female kunoichi in front of him familiar, but she shouldn't be an important character, so he didn't have any impression of her. I came for the stars. Sarutobi Hiruzen did not hide anything and directly stated his purpose. There was no need to hide. He was no longer a ninja and did not need to be cautious. Xiao-Ri frowned. Was he really here for seeing? The only thing about the Star Ninja Village that is worth others' attention is the stars. The effect of the star is very powerful. It can activate a person's chakra and also speed up the practice of chakra. After the chakra is activated, it can change into different shapes, even into wings or peacock tail feathers. It can be said that the existence of stars causes changes in the nature of chakra. This secret technique is indeed quite powerful, and people call it Little Susanoo. Unfortunately, no matter in defense or attack, it is far inferior to Susanoo, it just looks intimidating. Moreover, long-term practice with stars will have a great impact on the body and may even lead to death. However, now, except for the third-generation Musingiing, no one else knows about this. Okay, don't stop me. Sarutobi Hiruzen walked towards the village, but Natsume chose to take the initiative. Peacock magic wings. The blue-purple chakra formed wings on Xiao-Ri's back, allowing her to fly into the sky. Xiao-Ri did not attack Sarutobi Hiruzen, but flew directly back to the village to report the situation. When Sarutobi Hiruzen arrived in front of the Star Ninja Village, the village was already on high alert. More than a dozen ninjas were in formation, and there were even masked Umbu, waiting for Sarutobi Hiruzen to arrive. Are you a ninja from Konoha? An old man came out, wearing a divine robe and a hat with the word star on it. It is quite decent. Although the village is small, it has many rules. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded but said nothing. The stars are our village's treasure. I can't give them to you. A man with purple hair and blue eyes walked out. He had a crazy expression and didn't look normal. Sarutobi Hiruzen could see that the man's body had been deformed, probably affected by the star. Let's talk about it after the fight. Sarutobi Hiruzen directly used the summoning technique to summon the monkey demon. Before building a foundation, it is better to act cautiously. The summoned Monkey King was very excited. It had been a long time since he had fought alongside Sarutobi Hiruzen. After seeing the ape demon, Xingying was stunned. Are you a ninja from the Sarutobi clan? Are you the son of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen? Xingying was somewhat knowledgeable and recognized Tsurumakai at a glance. After all, it was the third Hokage Psychonic summoning beast. I am Sarutobi Hiruzen. Xingying frowned, somewhat incredulous. However, Sarutobi cannot fake it. He was a ninja from the land of whirlpools and knew about Sarutobi Hiruzen. But since coming to the Star Ninja Village, he has had no contact with the outside world, and he didn't know that Konoha has become the 5th generation. Is third Hokage really here for the stars? Yes, I want to meet the so-called star. Without seeing the star, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't be sure whether the so-called star would be useful to him. Then let's go to the village and talk. Xingying turned around and invited Sarutobi Hiruzen to the village for a detailed discussion.